deal.
Wait, what is an incel? Just someone who like dislikes women or something? Like, what is the actual meaning of it?
Go by Derek. I'm an incel, and I'm here to answer people's questions about the topic.
Let me see. I'm very curious this guy's
Hi, how are you?
takes.
Hi, I'm good.
So you're an incel.
Yes.
Why would you ever sign up to do this?
I suppose I would want to give more of a positive light on this community, which is a very negative light upon it.
Okay. And do you think that's a good thing?
This community.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because a lot of the boys in this community aren't bad people.
But you acknowledge that a good handful of them are, right?
Not a good handful, I would say a small handful.
Who hurt you, or what happened? What event sort of catalyzed this way of thinking and you getting into this kind of research?
Society.
Do you hate women?
No.
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 Do you have a female role model in your life?
A female role model.
Yeah, like a mom or an aunt or a friend?
I mean, I love my mom. I wouldn't necessarily consider her a role model, but I do love her quite a bit.
If a woman was elected as president of the United States, how would you react?
I don't know. It probably would depend on the woman. I probably wouldn't be supportive of it, honestly, but
Why do you say that, if you don't mind me asking?
I do think that men should be the leaders and women should be the caregivers and the loving, supporting, and the teachers in some cases.
Since women of color, or just women in general, have been oppressed by certain systems and other oppressed communities, especially the LGBTQ+, all those don't really fit with the spectrum that incels or you have been talking about. So why do you think your method of thought would help fix what we have today?
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression as oppression. I have a feeling. I would view it more as how we treat children that we love. We control them, but we control them lovingly, not as a slave, not as we're forcing them to do things against their will. I would view it more as a loving domestic thing in the past. And I would say that if we were to do it in a civilized way, maybe in a more, even a Christian way, even though I'm not really advocating for a certain religion or ideology, I would assume that women would probably be happier. And I wouldn't just assume that blindly, I would assume that based on the data that I have seen.
What data have you seen that...
These are
led to
just
this
bad
conclusion?
questions
Because
and
I'm
like
now curious
bad
where this
answers.
data
Just
from.
bad questions. Give them like good questions, bro.
Reference it offhand, but I believe there was a study that I can't
Never
remember
mind,
the name
crack.
off the top of my head.
Okay. What do you think it is about liberal areas that create behavior in women that you think is a problem?
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects, such as
What does that mean? What does this word mean? Someone tell me.
increased
okay.
standards in more primitive aspects, such as looks, and that typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people. Like, there's guys who are much better looking than I am, who are having a really hard time finding someone in a place like LA or in London or in Auckland, New Zealand. But they probably would have a perfectly fine time finding a woman somewhere else.
So you think that promiscuity
like
is the problem,
false.
and if people were more monogamous and more withholding, that would sort of fix society?
Yeah, I suppose people are more traditionalist.
What kind of question is that though? But like, wait, what?
Where these shooters
Fix
actually
society.
stated that they were incels or were radicalized by online incels. What do you think about their actions?
I condemn their actions. I don't believe I don't believe violence is the solution. I don't believe attacking random people is going to fix anything, whether they're, women or men. I do think that the reason why they committed those actions was probably because of out of desperation or out of, mental problems that probably could have been prevented had the right support was in their community, in their household. If people saw what they were posting and saw what they were experiencing in life and did something to help them.
Was there like a pivotal moment in your life, like a straw that broke the metaphorical camel's back?
You know, it's constant years of rejection, no matter who the person was, constant years of rejection in other aspects of my life. It did kind of push me towards more, I suppose, radical beliefs, but I suppose they're only like radical, but they're more just old beliefs, really.
No, it sounds like I had another like metaphor, like death by 1,000 cuts. You know, it's not like one pivotal moment, but it sounds like a bunch of things built up over time.
Yeah.
One of the common criticisms about the incel community is that you feel entitled to sex or intimacy. Do you believe that you deserve sex or intimacy from a woman?
I think
What kind
everybody
of-
at some level deserves someone that they.
Wait, what
someone
is that
loves
answer?
Them and, you know, respects them as long as you are also loving and respectful towards that person. You know, they're equal. You know, you're not like seeking someone beyond yourself. You know, you don't have like too high standards, I suppose. You know.
If you can tell the world about something about being incel that, you know, that may not be in the internet or that's overlooked heavily, what would it be?
I don't know. I think it's mostly that most of the men are not inherently bad people. A lot of them are just lonely. They just need some help, really.
Okay. Would you say that there's anything that other people can do to help guide or just support or?
Oh, is it my breathing?
The
Shit, my
lonely
bad.
person in your
It's just when
class,
air
or the
touches the
lonely
mic, bro, it's
person
loud.
in your workplace, maybe he's an incel and he's not letting you know, and he's just kind of afraid to. You want someone positive. Just be nice. Say hi. Try and make friends with him. You don't have to date him. You don't have to whatever. Just, you know, brighten up someone lonely's day, I suppose.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
You don't want to be an incel?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's part of the whole involuntarily thing. I mean, you know, you want to try and escape it. You want to be something better. You know, you want to get a wife, get a girlfriend, get someone who loves you, spend your life with them, and be happy. And
What's one thing you wish
Wait,
people
so is he an
understood
incel or not? Well, what was he
get a
saying?
wife,
I
get a
can't
girlfriend,
understand.
Get someone who loves something better. You know, you want to get a wife, get a girlfriend, get someone who loves you, spend your life with them. And
That
be happy.
answer doesn't sound
What's one thing you
incel-like to
wish
me.
people understood better about you?
I don't know. I guess I wish people would recognize how much effort I'm trying, I suppose. Like, you know, I'm working out typically daily. I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm out there job hunting actively. I don't think people recognize how much effort the incels in general try to put into bettering themselves. I would say...
Bro, like, the reason he's an incel is because he's, like, labeling himself as an incel. Who just calls himself an incel? Who's just going around calling themselves that? Like, he's, like, proud or something.
Effort the incels in general try to put into bettering
Go
themselves.
try. You, like,
I would
get something,
say,
bro?
you know, people don't recognize their effort.
No.
They just assume that they're all like lazy and sad and angry at women and just giving up and things of that nature, I suppose.
Okay.
You don't have to see the bad things in the world and then come out a bad person. You can just see the bad things in the world and then...
This was a I'm a virgin, ask me anything video. Not an incel. This is shameless. Jesus, should we get canceled?
This is a physical manifestation of love. This.
Shameless. Which one should we... Fuck, what should we watch? Fat versus Fit, we already watched that, bro. That was a good one, though. Sure. Christians versus LGBTQ+. I don't think we will be watching that on stream. What should we watch at? What should we watch? The sociopath one? I don't even know what a sociopath means, honestly. What does that mean? Like lying about everything or something? Or no, that's not. Manipulator? Well, then I feel like any answer he gives is just not going to be honest. No? Can you give me hash browns as well?
Yeah.
Thanks. You are a socio? Thank you, man. Alright, what should we watch? Which one? The Indian one, where is that? Where's the Indian one? That shit's legit stuck in my head now. This one? Or this one? Second one? This might get a little too controversial.
But do you know how many temples in Kashmir were burnt? 350 temples.
Are we settling scores?
Hindus and Muslims are like the Montagues and Capulets of India. We've been warring for centuries.
Nah, I don't think we're watching this, bro. This might get like a little too...
I'm Indian.
I'm Indian.
I'm Indian.
I'm Indian.
I'm Indian.
I'm Indian.
And I'm Korean. I'm Charlie, and I'm a content creator. I make contents on Instagram and YouTube in Hindi. So basically, when I was 1 year old, I went to India with my parents.
Guy looks
I
like
spent
Ken
20
Pecky.
years there. Growing up there as a Korean, I got a lot of attention.
Friendly
I didn't
fire?
like the attention, but later on, I started enjoying the attention, and looks like I'm here. That's why.
My name is Avi. Mera naam Avi hai. I was born here in California, but my parents are from New Delhi, India, specifically from Karol Bagh and Rajouri Garden.
Hi, my name is Pragya. Namaste, mera naam Pragya hai. I'm from Mumbai.
That is
Originally
cheating,
UP, but
bro.
was brought up in Mumbai.
Hi, my name is Ritvik. Kya haal hai? I grew up in Pune and then moved to the Bay Area when I was 9.
My name is Ruchi. माझं नाव रुची आहे. I was born in Thane and I came to the US in 2019.
Hi, my name is Vineet. Namaste. आप सबसे मिलके अच्छा लगा. I was born and raised in Bihar, Patna.
My name is Sunita. Na peru Sunita. I born in Hyderabad, Telangana.
Wait, that shit. Wait, I swear that was like a little.
Hi, my name is
Does he
Brittany,
sound like?
and
I
I'm
don't know.
India. I was
That was
born
like
in
too
Chennai.
obvious to me, I think.
moved
But that's
to
probably
the
because we
US
just
when
see
I
him.
was 2, moved back to India when I was 6, and then moved back to the US when I was 11.
Any one of you can tell what is your favorite curry and how do you make that curry?
I wanted to jump in and say, what curry? Like Indians don't say curry, right?
So I personally don't make curry. Usually growing up in the Indian household, my mom is the one who makes all the food. But, you know, I do like goat ki curry. Sometimes I even like in the morning, I have aloo ki pronti or, you know, paneer ki pronti.
But then other people were answering. So I felt like if I jump in now, people would be suspicious about me. I also don't cook that well, but I like chicken curry.
I grew up in Maharashtra, so
He just goes with the most
but
default
my favorite
shit.
curry would be fish curry, especially Goan fish curry.
I'm also vegetarian, and my mom still cooks for me, but I really like rasam.
Are your guys' parents, did they have an arranged marriage? Because for me, my parents, they literally just met in New Delhi one day for 5 minutes, and the next day, unka pakka vyah ho gaya. Like, you know, they already know, okay, acha, ab hamari shadi hoegi. Like, they're gonna get married.
My Nanaji and Dadaji knew each other in the railways, and they were like, hey, I have a daughter and I have a son,
Let's introduce them. They've been married for 34 years now.
They had a love marriage, which is crazy, but my mom was in Sinatraa and then my dad was in Pune, so they had like a long distance relationship for 4.5 years.
Wow.
By the way, your accent seems a little off, man.
My accent?
Yeah.
What about my accent?
It seems like you're making it up. I don't know.
This is just my accent.
I think Vineet
You already got caught?
a big red flag.
When Ritvik pointed it out, it kind of like affirmed my suspicion. I was like, oh.
Wait,
I'm starting
this
to
guy
feel
already got
suspicious of
fucking
you, Vinny.
voted
I
out?
was shocked. Because I grew up in India, I had Indian accent. But when I came to the university in the US, when I was 20 years old, I wanted to change my accent. So now I have American accent as well.
What languages do you all speak? I speak English, Hindi. Because I was brought up in Mumbai, I understand Marathi, but when I try to speak Marathi, my friends tell me that I sound like a Firang, so I then try not to speak Marathi.
I speak English, Hindi, and Punjabi.
I can speak English, Hindi, Marathi.
I can speak English, Marathi, and Hindi, but my Hindi sucks, so माझं मराठी खरंच फार छान आहे.
I speak Hindi and English. I can understand little bit of Bhojpuri because I grew up in Patna.
I can speak English, Hindi, and then I understand a very little bit of Tamil.
I speak Telugu, English, little bit of Hindi.
I think all of us speak Hindi. We've all, even if it's just a little bit. Do you want to say something about yourselves in Hindi? मेरे पास 2 देशों में law practice करने का license है. मैंने इंडिया में 2 साल वकालत करी थी और अब मैं यहाँ कैलिफोर्निया में पिछले कुछ महीनों से प्रैक्टिस कर रही हूँ.
This is Sunita. मैं self-taught Indian classical dancer and also devotional singer and former chemist.
आपको हिंदी आती है या नहीं?
थोड़ा मालूम है.
She didn't speak Hindi because she was from the south, and I thought other people were a little suspicious about her.
मैं ऋत्विक हूँ, मेरी हिंदी बेकार है, पर माझी मराठी फार छान है.
मेरा नाम वृत्ति है और मैं 18 साल की हूँ.
और मैं कथक सीखती हूँ.
मेरा नाम अवी है and मेरे को गरम चाय और गरम पकोड़े बहुत पसंद है.
अच्छा, आप लोग को आलू पराठा अच्छा लगता है?
बहुत.
मूली भी पराठा बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
आलू का पराठा.
I think they're voting him out, bro.
How was your school days experience growing up?
Oh wait,
I
they
did
did?
my primary in Thane, Maharashtra, and then I was sent to a boarding school in Panchgani. Those boarding school days were amazing.
What?
In
Is
Panchgani,
Mystical
it was
Tree
like a
255 okay in my chat?
Zameen par moment for me.
I did most of my
That is shameless.
elementary school in India. It was kind of hard to adjust at first just because I did do like a year of elementary school in the US, but I look back and like it was honestly so fun and so wholesome, even though the teachers were kind of mean. But
That's a red flag. I had the opposite. Mine was not wholesome at all.
Why is that?
If I didn't answer a question right, they would throw like a chalk at you, or like they'll like come up and hit you on your hands. I had to wear your uniform and.
That's kind of true. We used to have uniform.
What? Doing that
and
nowadays,
cushion is
bro.
long,
In
it's
2024 in
punished.
America?
Yeah.
And then Jana Gana Mana.
Should we cancel everyone?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys all know national anthem?
Yeah.
Can you remember? Yeah.
You know we need. I want to ask you.
Bro, I grew up in India only. I remember everything.
Vineet, I trust you.
Yes.
Yeah, somehow I trust.
No, please.
Somehow I trust
me.
Vinny.
Trust me. I don't know why you guys are doubting me.
Yeah, no, you have my support. I promise you, I don't doubt you. And especially when you said you speak a bit of Bhojpuri, and I could sense that. Yeah, you're good.
Seems like everybody's Indian.
Yeah.
Damn.
There was a tie. And the tie is between Ritvik and Sunita.
I have an American accent because I had to get rid of my Indian accent when I came here because I got bullied a lot. I still have an Indian passport and I just got my green card. So I can be the most Indian ever, but I am a filmmaker, I'm not a computer scientist, but I promise you I'm Indian. And Marathi खरंच अवघड language आहे.
Friendly fire, bro.
शिकू नाही शकत जर मी Indian नसेल तर.
I'm Pakka Telugu. My native language
Bro said he
is
wasn't
Telugu,
tech support.
and I love singing.
That is actually
in
friendly
Telugu.
fire.
నీ దారి చల్లగా స్వామి నిదురపో.
Why did you start singing?
I need to get rid of him.
What happened?
Because he was getting suspicious about me.
Oh my God, guys, come on. Believe me, I can sing, man. Dil chata hai. Honestly, I was so pissed off by the group because they had typecasted me. A lot of my life, I've been trying to figure out who I am. Hence, even today, like I knew I was Indian, but I didn't sound Indian. It's sort of this identity that, like, a lot
Wait,
of my
what?
life, I've been trying to.
What the fuck did he just say? This guy a fucking robot?
So pissed off by the group because they had typecasted me. A lot of my life, I've been trying to figure out who I am. Hence, even today, like I knew I was Indian, but I didn't sound Indian. It's sort of this identity that you're trying to figure out.
Can I ask you guys what is the latest Indian
What?
movie you guys saw?
I don't watch a lot of Bollywood films, so that was one area that I was weak.
I don't watch a lot of movies generally, but I recently watched Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani. My most favorite recent movie that I'd watched was Gangubai. I think Alia Bhatt did a fantastic job in that.
I saw this movie on Netflix called Darlings, and I loved it.
I saw Animal with Ranbir Kapoor.
He's our Telugu director, I know, yeah.
I don't watch a lot of movies as well, so I'll just talk about one of my favorites. I like Amir Khan a lot. I remember Tare Zameen Par.
What has been the funniest pronunciation of your name so far?
My name is not Vineet, so I started thinking, what accents could Vineet go with?
This one time in class, one of my professors called me pregnant, so that was really fun.
I was called Rookie, which is not, it's not good, especially in an interview if they call you Rookie. So it's not good for your self-esteem, but yeah.
I don't think I had that bad experience. Vineet is pretty easy.
People who aren't Indian, I usually tell them my name is Vritti, just because it's easier for them to pronounce. I think one time in class, one of my teachers called me like Variety, or like one of my old friends like used to call me Verdi, but then that like kind of made its way into like Birdie.
Shit
like,
turned into crickets,
I don't know.
My name, they usually say Sonita, Sanita, like that.
My full name is Avneet, so people usually say Evnet, but that's why I just go by Avi. It's much easier. I don't know, there was somebody who said that they didn't really watch Indian movies. And
That was me. Yeah, and I think Vineet also said the same.
Or
Yeah.
Ruchi? She said she doesn't watch Indian movies either? Or?
No, I said I watched Darlings.
I never even heard of that movie.
Oh, that's a good movie. You should watch it.
Is that like original Indian movie or is it?
It's got Alia Bhatt and Shefali Shah.
Ruchi, I trust you.
I trust you too,
you,
Pragya.
yeah.
I don't trust Vineet though.
Me
You
neither.
said which Amir Khan movie did you like?
Said Tare Zameen Par, yeah.
But I mentioned Tare Zameen Par before
Yes.
this. Which other movie did you like?
I like Amir Khan's Lagan as well.
Oh, yeah.
I like Three Idiot as well.
Yes.
I don't know why you are doubting me.
I don't know.
Damn, he actually fucking finessed right there.
Sass of Sunita right now.
He actually finessed right there, I can't lie.
Sing any other song? I feel like you could also have had learned Telugu because you would have wanted to learn classical music.
I think also because last round you asked like what our favorite curry is, and I feel like that's like a very stereotypical like non-Indian thing to ask.
Oh God, you will be regretting. Oh my gosh, I've been here for decades. I was really surprised, but I guess for them, I'm not enough Indian to be Indian.
Raise your hand if you think that the mole is still in the box and you would like to continue playing the game.
Who is known as the best kisser in Bollywood?
Imran
Hashmi.
Hashmi.
Who didn't know?
What?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
But not everybody would know about it, right?
But I believe if someone is from India, they would know about this, right? Because he was quite controversial. What visas are the ones who are from India and who've immigrated to the US on? I'm on an F1 visa right now.
Yeah, F1.
Yes.
Vineet, what about you?
Yeah, same.
Which university did you go to?
I went to University of Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in America actually, so I have American citizenship as well. So I didn't know about visas.
Vineet didn't say anything about the visa. I said I have an F1 visa, and he just said, yeah, same. It felt as if he didn't know what the visas were.
Which school did you go to in Patna? Because I have quite a few friends from Patna.
I actually moved schools a lot.
Why is that?
I'll have to ask my parents. I went to St. Karen's from class 1 to 4, I think, and then from class 4, Radiant International.
Is there an army school in Patna?
Yes, Don Bosco, I think, was nearby.
Okay. I trust you now.
I'm still suspicious of Vineet, honestly.
What's the reasoning? Yeah.
I feel like you're just piggybacking off of like other people's answers, and I feel like you've been kind of quiet.
I'm actually suspicious about you.
Why?
Your accent and...
Okay.
Did you celebrate Holi?
I did.
Do you know what people say in Holi? It's a common phrase.
Holi hai?
Holi hai.
I don't. No. I don't know what you're
This
referring
guy's
to.
cooking, bro.
Does everybody else?
Burana mano.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Oh my god, this guy's just fucking cooked. This guy actually just fucking cooked
Going into
this.
this, I didn't really think something
Wait,
of suspicion.
I thought for sure he was out round 1.
Me was going to be my accent. Judging people based off their voice or based off what they look like isn't really an accurate judgment.
Love comes in all languages. अगर आपको देखना है कि आप किससे मिलते हैं, शिकम फारू नेक्थॉप ताऊ पद
Like,
Raise your hand if you think.
why eating? Chick-fil-A. The mini bite things. And hash browns.
That the mole is still in the box. Since it's not the majority, we will end the game now.
Oh
Vineet,
my
I swear to
god.
I'm trusting your Don Bosco knowledge at this point.
Oh
If the light
my
turned
god.
red, that means that the mole is still in the box and the mole wins. If the lights turn green, that means that you
What do you mean the light?
successfully
They're
eliminated the
blindfolded.
mole. 3,
Oh god, my anxiety.
2, 1. And the lights are red.
I don't, guys.
Vineet, I swear.
3, 2, 1.
Bro, I knew it!
Oh my gosh.
I knew it.
I
I sussed out the accent right at
What?
the beginning.
That's beneath right there.
Oh my god.
My
No,
high
it's-
school
this
bullies
is
would
my-
say that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're like, hello,
Bro,
hello.
this is my accent. My real name is Yechan Lee. I'm from South Korea, but I grew up in India. I had to change my accent to this,
Yeah.
the accent that I'm speaking right now, but I had the one before.
I wasn't expecting the mole to be someone who's lived in India for 20 years, so that was a pleasant surprise.
He was too good. Like, yeah, nobody can say he's not Indian.
Learning from his experience, I do think he's more Indian than a lot of people up here, including me.
Did you ever?
Bro, that guy has like a fucking identity crisis or something. What is wrong with this guy? This guy just said he's more Indian than him. What's wrong with him? Bro, it's okay. You're him, bro.
Have any issues with identity?
Yeah, at first I thought I need to have one identity, so I picked South Korean, and I went to army as well because I wanted to be like confident in me saying that I'm Korean. But later I realized that it's not really important. I can have multiple identities. I can say like when I'm in India, I can say I'm Indian. Because I mean, like in my contents, people say you're more Indian. Tumko Aadhaar card milna
Should we
chahiye."
just be one person or no?
And stuff like that. So now I say like I'm a global citizen.
He's taken the best out of all the cultures. I think it's beautiful.
I really appreciate the Jugaad culture. Jugaad is like you'll figure it out. So
I'm Asian.
I'm Asian.
I'm Asian.
I'm Asian.
That one's like
I'm
impossible.
Indian.
The Asian one's impossible to do. Because the American Asians just all sound the fucking American. They just all sound white, no? That shit racist. Lily? Lily racist. What is this?
Hey, what's up, guys? We actually recorded a.
Did you earn your money? What kind of question is that? Wow, this is gonna get me mad. This video, I think. There's gonna be so much victim-like people.
I'm a community organizer here in LA. I work on environmental justice, social justice, housing justice, and incarceral state issues.
My name is Christiana Hurt. I'm the owner of a seven-figure brand, Wealthy College Kid, and I'm 24 years old.
My name is Graham. I'm a real estate agent, real estate investor, and YouTuber.
My name is Beatrice. I am 21 and I am a Target worker.
My name is Brett Knutson. I am an entrepreneur and an investor.
My name is Tiara Lucky and I am a minimum wage worker. I just hustle through Instacart and I'm also an actress.
The first prompt is, I worked for everything I earned.
100%. Nope. Well, not like physically worked. Well, I feel like work is like subjective.
So I grew up with two parents that were basically paycheck to paycheck, and none of them had any extra money. It was by seeing my parents struggle like that that I really realized the value of money. So I basically poured everything I had into my work. There were years, I would say 4 years, that I didn't have any friends. From 18 to 22, it was just me. And I was working from probably 8 a.m. until midnight, working as a real estate agent.
I completely agree. I think that what a lot of people discount is all the sacrifices that are made. I didn't go to parties. I don't really honestly have like a ton of friends. And it's not like a sacrifice where I was like, I'm gonna have no friends, but you can only balance so many plates or you drop everything. And the plate that I chose to give up was a social life.
There's a lot of labor and communal effort that goes into getting all of us here that we don't get paid for, that other people don't get paid for. And the examples that you two gave are perfect, actually. You both earn your money by extracting value from capital transactions. You know, you are not building the house you're selling. You're not out there working like in a slave mine, pulling selenium out of the earth like some people on this planet are. And we have to re-understand what it means to earn money and how we all interact to do that.
How would you address, based off extracting value, if you start a company from the ground and then you build it into a multi-million-dollar company?
But no one does that because there's investors and stuff that come in too.
Not always.
What?
Most of the time. I mean,
He said no one does that. Why is he just lying?
I mean, I've raised money before.
Yeah.
But I've also started companies that I didn't raise money for.
How would you finance them?
By working a part-time retail job for minimum wage and then saving up and then putting it in.
I have felt judged for my income level.
I think it's part of general society. We are always judging each other. Having used SNAP points before, like standing in a grocery store using the card that I've gotten from the government to pay for food and feeling the people behind me thinking that's something that you haven't earned or gotten.
Has somebody ever asked you to use your SNAP on them?
I mean, I have. Generally, there's not that much to go around.
It's the same mentality when it's $1 versus SNAP. Somebody could still ask me to share. Well, you get it. Why can't you help me out?
I didn't step forward because me personally, I surround myself with people that just like, what's in my bank account just doesn't matter to the people that are around me. I do think a lot of judgment towards how much you make reflects on like your dating experience. That I do feel.
See, I've never had that because I'm so frugal. If there are girls that are out there who want me for my money, like they should know I'm probably like the cheapest person out there. I literally will wait like 9 p.m. for happy hour to start just so I get the happy hour menu. And so like, so I would be like the last person any sort of like gold digger would want.
Yeah. I find myself in situations with these boys that have no job, no nothing, and I end up taking on these charity cases of relationships. Oh, why don't you put him on or build him up? And it's like, you can't build.
Yeah, it's not Build-A-Bear.
I mean, you can. I mean, I've met guys I've dated that, you know, go on to have successful businesses from my input. And, you know, you want to date somebody equal or greater, but then you don't want to be materialistic.
That is just such a lie, I feel like.
I only date people with money because I make money.
Exactly.
Anyone can become rich if you work hard enough.
It depends where you live. If you're in the United States of America, yes.
So I just think that anyone could become rich if they actually like believed in themselves and took the risk to actually believe in themselves, that there is some success at the end of the line of that.
I feel like a lot of it comes down to mindset first and really having the belief that you can do that. I know for me, one of my biggest concerns was I didn't have any skills whatsoever and I didn't get into college. I have like a 2.0 GPA in high school. Like it was terrible. I had such bad grades. But I really turned that into a positive and I really believe this actually happened.
Any first world country, probably. United States especially. But like Afghanistan, probably fucking not, no.
For a reason, because now I could pursue something else, which is
I'll be
real
back.
estate, because I didn't
I have to go to
require
the
a
bathroom
college
real quick
degree.
after I wash my
And
hands.
looking back now, that was the best thing that.
Shit, my bad, chat.
That had ever happened.
This guy's gonna
That's like
be.
a really sticky
This guy's gonna pretend like he's some victim.
That's like a really sticky situation with anyone can become like rich, and because I don't think that's completely true.
Just that statement is not true. Like anyone in the world, no, but like,
A lot of people can.
and not like, and like, yeah.
They have the connections and stuff, you know. But still, like sometimes people like.
We're talking about
they
just
work
general,
jobs,
like,
or
you know,
sometimes they have other
public.
things going on. They have to put
Not
their
like
needs
special
first. They
needs
don't always
people
have,
who
like,
can't get
money for
rich
that, you
because
know?
he has a
'Cause, like, my
disability or
dad,
like
he's,
just
a
shit like this. It doesn't
landscaper.
count.
He has tried making his own company, and it doesn't always like work out. He has tried
Obviously.
hard. It doesn't work. That's why I think it's like you have to have connects, you know. That's why.
Do you mind if I interject?
Yeah,
Yeah. In terms of building connections, I didn't have any connections either when it comes to working in real estate. And what I did to make the connections was I went to open houses every single Sunday for months. And I probably met at least 50 or 60 real estate agents. And it was through that I met one agent who was really gracious enough to say, if you want to come work underneath me, I'm happy to do that. And it was really that connection, which like you mentioned, connection, that I met that person through just really kind of putting myself out there to meet people.
There's a lot of institutional and systemic barriers that we aren't really talking about. If you walk into like a Beverly Hills $5 million house not speaking English, they're probably not going to give you the like hookup. We don't tend to move within circles where those connections cross economic and socioeconomic lines. But even beyond that, I want to say like you took a big risk, and your risk.
Would anyone that could actually speak English walking into some random $5 million house get help from them too? What? What is that? What is
But
that?
What if your risk
What does that
hadn't
even mean?
paid off? And that's for a lot of people who do try and start their own businesses, try and start their own YouTube channel. That risk doesn't pay off, and there's no real safety net there. So we're not really getting an adequate side of people who have like taken that entrepreneurial risk and not been able to take it again.
I'm almost worried it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, though. If you go in it fearing, oh, what am I going to fail, and that becomes your main focus, I think more people are less likely to take risks actually needed to succeed because they're more focused on not failing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think your beliefs create the level of action you take, and the level of action you take determines your results, and it is cyclical.
I am not obligated to give to the less fortunate.
So the reason I stood up on this one is one of the missions in my organizing is getting away from this kind of notion that we have that charity or philanthropy is the way in which we solve social problems. At the same time, like, I still give people money when I have extra change in my pocket, so I don't want to seem like I'm totally opposed to it.
I agree with that. I've given people money and not gotten it back. I've given people money and they've wasted it on drugs. Why did I even give you the money to begin with if you weren't going to use it to better yourself? Is it my job to make sure that you're not going hungry? No, we have plenty of organizations that will make sure that you're eating, make sure that you have a roof over your head. Yeah. It doesn't have to fall on my shoulders, per se.
feel like when you say, are you obligated to give to the unfortunate, it's always the mindset of like money. Well, guess what? I have no money currently to give. But I have like my morality. I have my goodness about me.
This person's like a good person.
I'm just trying to build a community, especially when you
Like she's
have
not
a group
pretending
of
as if
people
she's like
that
some
is
victim,
creative and
which is
supportive.
very good.
You build faster
see
than
that.
just by yourself.
I don't always donate with money. Sometimes I'll go and I'll fill bags of food for
This
kids
guy thinks
that are
he's some
starving.
victim.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it doesn't always have to
Not
be
the
money.
guy talking,
I don't
the
think
guy
it's
behind.
our responsibility to give money based off of what we think the person's going to do with it. Like that's on them if they choose to use it wrongly. It's our responsibility just to be generous.
Damn, these are quick fucking.
I am not afraid to spoil myself.
I personally do spoil myself. I work hard to be able to go into a store and get something for myself. I bought a $4,000 hairless cat that I had genetically made. And when I was in high school, when I
What?
started making money, I went and got that cat. You know, when you're in middle school and everybody's hitting puberty and getting taller and boobs, and I didn't get any boobs. What did I do when I started making money? I went and bought boobs. Like, that's what I wanted. And, you know, there's the controversy of like, you're gonna die from your implants. Like, I'll die a D cup and I have no problem with it.
So I
What?
rarely ever treat
Wait.
myself. I basically keep my
I
Oh,
spending. the same
bought
way I
a
was like 15 or
genetically
19 or
made
21. No matter
$3,000
how
cat?
much money I made,
What does that
I
even
spent
mean?
The exact same amount. For instance, it sounds
Like, they made
crazy,
that bitch in the
but
lab?
When I was like 17, I
Is
wanted
that like
a
a real
Lamborghini.
thing?
And there was nothing I wanted more. I want to be that guy, 18 years old and pull up with a Lambo. Like that was my dream. But when I actually got the money to go and buy the car, all of a sudden I realized like, wait a second, that's stupid. I'm not going to get the car. I'm going to invest it in real estate instead. But then I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to get the Lamborghini. And then you save up even more, and then you realize, wait, the Lambo is still stupid. Let me go and invest it. And even now, like the chase and ambition of getting something is way more fun and enjoyable than actually getting that thing.
I don't really spoil myself because I always buy my needs first. I usually wait till like my next check to see if I have extra money, and if I do, then I spoil myself. But if I don't, then I don't.
I think it's interesting also that almost all of us have associated spoiling ourselves with spending money, and at
Yeah,
the same
sure.
time said
That's true.
spending that money is very unfulfilling. It's weird because even myself, like, I really just like having an F-off day and I just hang out and don't do anything and have any responsibilities, but I don't think about it as spoiling myself, even though that's my favorite time to spend.
I wish I had more money.
What? Obviously. Yeah. No. Oh, that guy's just gonna pretend as if he's some like.
For me, I think it's always a comfort
Yeah, so
thing
cringe.
knowing that I have a little bit more
Oh
saved
my
up or
God.
invested. And I think it could just be a psychological thing that no matter how much money I have, it's always psychologically never going to be enough because that becomes your new normal. So I think you're always chasing that.
See, I want more money so that I can pay off like my debt and travel. And like help some family members, and that's it.
That's why I want money. I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, give me money, you know? But like, I
Like,
just
bro,
want it
you
for
could
my
even
needs.
like. He's so it's just so selfish. Even if you don't want money for yourself, you just go up there and say like, for just like you want more money so you could give back to more people or something. Like, but he's just pretending to be like some like alpha or something.
For me,
It's so
I think it's
cringe,
always
bro.
a comfort thing knowing that I have a little bit more saved up or invested. And I think it could just be
It's
because
just
that
so
becomes your
cringe.
new normal. So I think you're always chasing that.
See, I want more money so that I can pay off like my debt and travel. And like help some family members, and that's it.
That's why I want money. I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, give me money, you know? But like, I just want it for my needs, you know, or just for like a car because I need a car, you know, or just stuff my family needs, stuff my friends need.
I think for me, if I'm honest with myself, it's getting further away from how broke I was because I'm scared of that ever happening again. There's no end because of that.
Oh, here we go.
So, of course, everyone could always use more money. Like, I've met billionaires.
Then why didn't you walk
definitely
up?
Say that they would want more money, but more, I want to see a society in which the money that we have doesn't determine all of our possibilities. Because it seems like when we talk about solving problems, it comes back to money. My utopian vision is like a society where money really doesn't matter because we don't really need it to figure out value, but it makes a good translation for the time being.
That guy's on shrooms, I think. That guy's talking about like heaven or something. He's living in legit La La Land. Yeah, communism too. That's like basically communism, I guess. Yeah, it was just La La Land.
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell you all about credit card sharing.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Middle Ground, guys. We loved having different people this time around just to get different.
Ooh,
As a real estate guy, I can make millions of dollars and use the exact same.
I think this is more in depth. I think
tax
from the looks
loopholes
of
that
it.
Donald Trump would use and
Exactly.
pay effectively no tax. And does that make me a bad guy, or did I just study the tax code?
It makes you a bad guy, yeah.
What?
Step forward if you agree. Being poor is a choice.
I thought she was about to walk up by herself.
I do not want to be disingenuous to ignore systemic issues that we all experience, but I feel like it's 2020.
This question is just so shameless, by the way.
Being poor is a
It's like it's worded to make it so negative if you walk up or something. Like they could have worded it in such different ways to make it sound like more inviting or something. Like the same question could have been phrased like, does everyone have equal opportunity to get rich or something like that? You know what I mean? But it's just like this. It's very negative.
I do not want to be disingenuous to ignore systemic issues that we all experience, but I feel like it's 2021 and there's a lot of free resources. I mean, Facebook has a lot of free courses. I think that poor is also a mindset.
I agree. Originally, when I came out here, I started straight at the homeless shelter. I had to flee from domestic violence from my family. Most people in general don't choose to be poor, but since I've been here, specifically in LA, a lot of people outside, they don't want to come into the shelter because they'd rather be in the tents.
I mean, I grew up poor, so I have been on both sides of the coin, and I can reflect and look back on some of the lifestyle choices that I was making, some of the people that I was hanging around. So I don't think that people can initially control if they're born into poverty, but I think that there is a certain level of control that comes along with being able to have that determination and that resilience.
Can I have the disagreeer step forward?
I don't know about this question. It's just it's too weird.
These people are on the street not because of their own choosing, but because of the system that we live in perpetuates these things.
If I could speak to that, I come from a
See,
family.
but why are they talking about homeless people? That's such a like minute amount of people. This question is based off like just regular poor people.
Living perpetuates.
It doesn't make sense.
If I could speak to that, I come from a family that once relied on welfare and food stamps. And I've been blessed enough to make millions of dollars in real estate. But had I bought real estate from 2005 to 2008, I'd probably be bankrupt today. I just bought it at the right time.
People wish to be rich, they don't want to be rich. The difference is, do you take action? That being said, I agree with a lot of your points you're making about people not.
So why didn't he walk up?
Not really having the resources or the opportunity to have any kind of action plan.
Some people don't even want to be rich. Like, I don't want to be rich. Like, but I also don't
100% cap.
want to be poor. I'm happy in the middle. And I would want to live in society where they could perpetuate people to lift themselves out of poverty through programs and just be in the middle.
Billionaires should not exist.
I don't see how anyone could ever spend $1 billion. It's not a necessity to have that much money, and
that's why
I feel like there is a certain cap in which like, you can completely survive and thrive with this amount of money, and then if you surpass that, you're just hoarding.
And then we've seen what people with billions of dollars are doing with their money. They're going to space for fun. Like, clearly, if we tax those people properly,
AKA advancing the human race.
Get their wealth and distribute it to people who need it, that'd be a much better use than going to space for fun.
Personally, I don't think there's an issue with billionaires existing. The issue for me is that they need to be held accountable the same way poor people do. And I'm talking about the justice system.
When you look at a lot of billionaires who have gotten that way because of the just incredible amount of value they've given to society, I won't even talk about a huge crazy billionaire. I'll talk about Jay-Z, who's a billionaire.
That's a close one.
He made amazing music. That's how he became a billionaire. And so I don't think it's the government's job to interject and say, okay, you have too much, we need to give it away. I mean, it would also never happen in any other arena. No one's gonna go, hey, Simone Biles, you have too many gold medals. We're gonna take them from you and we're gonna give them to the other people who weren't as talented as you.
I completely agree.
I completely disagree. I feel like that is the government's job. And Jay-Z, like you said, Jay-Z made his money from music. That's his labor. He's a musician. He's selling his talent. But then when he invested in the alcohol, then he's using other people who are harvesting the wheat, the agave. They're breaking their back. They're using their labor.
So do you think that you shouldn't invest in those people? Should they just like say, the hell with your dreams, I'm not going to invest in you?
I'm saying.
What about the job?
What do you mean?
They're having jobs.
Yeah, but how much are they getting paid for their jobs? Oh, those jobs in the third world where they're getting paid pennies,
Yeah,
and then
versus
Jay-Z
no
makes
job.
millions off their labor.
How much do you pay your employees?
You think harvesting isn't going to exist if Jay-Z doesn't invest?
If I may interject, I pay my employees like incredibly well, and I let them choose their own hours. Someone who works for me is a single mother. I pay her $50 an hour, and I think that people that are providing jobs and opportunities, you can hate on them all you want, but at the end of the day, like nobody would work that job if it wasn't in some way, shape, or form worth it.
People who make $1 billion get a fraction of the value they create. Everybody here who has a business understands that. Even Jay-Z only gets 15 cents a record he sells. Okay?
Yes, that's because he got exploited by the record label who's using his label to make money.
You keep using this word exploiting like you understand the record business, of which I am in, okay? Record labels back hundreds of artists. Do you know how many go busto? Yeah. Okay? They're taking risk in an artist by the tapes, paying the engineers, marketing, etc. They're exploiting them. They're taking on a bet. And they can't just give everybody 50-50. They'll go bankrupt. You don't understand the record business, and you're just yelling out these words exploiting like you know what you're talking about, but you don't.
That's why
they're not exploiting.
That's why there's one Jay-Z and not millions
Exactly.
of them.
I actually want to ask a question of how you define exploited and why you're saying that.
I'm using exploited in the Marxian term where your labor creates value and then your employer takes that value and distributes it unevenly to themselves and then leaves the rest for the workers. That's exploitation. My name is David. I work for Disney in the entertainment character department, and I make around $33,000 a year.
How's your experience been working at Disneyland?
My experience working at Disneyland is very mixed. The workers themselves, like my coworkers, are amazing people. Unfortunately, the company is not so great. They don't pay us that much. They have enough money to pay us more. I think they should just pay us more, but I don't think they're gonna do that. That's why I'm advocating for a union to bargain in our favor.
My name is Ginny, and I run a software design agency. And this year, I'm going to be taking home about $400,000. When I started my business, that was like all consuming.
She should be on the poor side.
Everything I did in my life was for business. And so I think my partner felt a lot of neglect. And so a lot of our arguments, a lot of the times that we had issues were because of my absence.
The economy is rigged.
What are these questions? The economy is rigged. Like that could be so like interpreted in different ways.
Someone who is poor, living paycheck to paycheck, you're stuck having to apply to jobs and settle for things that you don't like instead of being able to follow your passion.
What'd she say? I didn't even listen. Okay, what is the prompt? The economy is rigged.
I would actually.
If you're born in a rich family, you have more opportunities. And as someone
that's
who
not
is
rigged, that's luck.
poor, living paycheck to paycheck, you're stuck having to apply to jobs and settle for things that you don't like instead of being able to follow your passion.
That's not rigged. Is that rigged?
I agree that it's rigged
I don't
to
think
incentivize certain areas.
She doesn't know what rigged means.
Like we have millions and millions of farm subsidies, so it supports agribusiness. It may support one area like real estate or capital investment over labor. But I don't think it's generally rigged to basically keep the rich guy rich and the poor guy poor. That part I'll disagree. But there are certain policies like the reinvestment in productive people's hands for building real estate. I would say that's a good thing. Right?
When you say productive people, like, do you just mean people with money?
No, I mean people that actually take that money, organize people, put it to work, and create value. That's what I mean by productive people.
But who creates the value? It's the workers who create the value.
Listen, there's people who take risk and they risk their money. That's creating value. What you discount
Wait, but
is
like
a person willing to
those
risk.
workers wouldn't be there without the guy with a lot of money. How does he not understand what he's trying to say?
Their savings, okay, and provide capital for that venture and to be paid last. So if it goes busto, the worker still gets paid. The investor doesn't. If it goes well,
He's
the
been
worker
saying
gets
this for the
paid
past
and the
5
investor
minutes
makes
now.
money.
I don't
You
understand how he's not
discount
getting
the
it.
role of capital and savings in any type of venture. Like my mom didn't want to be rich. She wanted to be a school teacher and work and do that and live in the middle ground, and that's fine. But there are people like me who want to take a lot of risk and get a lot of reward. And we put that capital to work. And you should respect that.
Hi, my name is Bill Perkins. I run a hedge fund. I do investments and other things. I manage my own money. How much I make annually? Sometimes I lose money, but I'd say on average over $10 million a year.
Okay, hedge fund is kind of shameless, I can't lie.
My dad, in the last years of his life, he died broke. I did not inherit my money. I made it myself. I really don't care about the money. Money is a tool for me to have the experiences that I want to have out of life. And there are many experiences that I want to have.
You have to have a certain level of awareness and knowledge to know the rules of the game. And I think that there are barriers put in place to kind of prevent people from knowing the rules, but I think that it's out there and you can have access to it.
That's very true.
You know, I think that knowing the rules is different.
I know the rules, and I think they're disgusting. That's why I want to change them.
Why don't you play the game then? I mean, you can change.
I think they're disgusting. Why would I want to play the game?
As a real estate guy, I can make millions of dollars and use the exact same tax loopholes that a Donald Trump would use and pay effectively no tax. And does that make me a bad guy, or did I just study the tax code?
It makes you a bad guy, yeah.
You think so?
If you do that, yeah.
I'm following the law to a T.
The law is wrong. Yeah.
Why is it wrong? It's the law.
I'm not.
You think just because it's law, it's always right?
No, certainly not. Certainly.
No, I'm not saying
but
that.
That's my point.
No, the law is written to encourage investment, is which they want. So he's investing. So like the law is written to encourage certain things. If you disagree with it, you can go lobby and change. But he's not a bad guy.
I know you mentioned that there are barriers in place that do keep people kind of in impoverished conditions, but I don't think that we all acknowledge like the mental.
Well, that's where I was going. So if I can reflect on myself, I mean, I remember when I was living in poverty, I was just trying to survive. So I didn't even have the brain capacity to try or the willpower to kind of even desire to access the rules of the economy. But I mean, I had an epiphany, and I literally woke up one day and I was like, I cannot live the rest of my life like this, and I don't care if people call me lame, square, they're gonna question my blackness. I mean, I don't care. I'm getting out.
Well, speaking about blackness, do you think there's a correlation between people from the African diaspora and people of color and poverty? You don't think there's like a relationship there?
It's true that, I belong to a
getting,
community
we're
that
getting
makes
like to a
less
different
than certain other
conversation.
communities. That's true.
Other than the economy is rigged here. That has to do with like family values and shit like that.
Differences between groups and say it's only because of systems. Systems played a huge deal to it. I'm not discounting that at all. Like, it's a real big deal, and we're working to change that. But also, I mean, statistically, like, people from my old neighborhood and people, around in these communities, they spend about 50% more on shoes than people who are not in those neighborhoods. And it's like, man, that.
Well, not only that, Todd, but I think I looked up a recent statistic that said that Asian households, their children tend to study 13 to 15 hours a week, where in a black household, it's like 3 hours a week.
Okay, well, what is she doing here? This is friendly fire. What's going on?
Not like a race issue, but when you think about the way that we got here as like African
Wait, what? Shit, racist.
people,
just kidding.
It was a race issue, but when you think about the way that we got here as like African people, it was a race issue. We didn't have a chance to discover America like the other people did. So I feel like,
wait, what?
Like how you mentioned that Asian Americans, they study more than black households. You don't feel like those communities are kind of socialized in their upbringing to be more inclined to care about their finances, as opposed to like African Americans, we would rather look rich than actually be rich. I think that's a part of like our community.
It's a culture, it's a choice.
Well,
yeah, she's right. What? Wait, how did we get to this conversation? This is a much different topic.
It's not a choice. I don't.
To a certain extent.
I think it's a choice. I do think it's a choice. I'm not going to say it's not a choice, but I'm saying, do you feel like some people don't have the same choices as other people's in different
I
communities.
think some people don't have the mental capacity to allocate the energy to learn the rules of the game, quote unquote, because their
I don't know about that,
instincts are
but-
kicking in to
Right.
just survive.
I think trauma plays a heavier role than we like to account for. Trauma is the reason why I'm here. I come from a family, a heavily cult Islamic family, and
What?
the things that I was doing in my life they didn't agree with. They pretty much sent people to my house to kill me. I was set up multiple times. They hacked my social media pages, both my iPhone, you know what I
What?
mean? So I don't want to just kind of ignore trauma
Wait,
as
what's
if
going
it doesn't
on?
really matter in terms of what
What?
people are doing, because people that are traumatized and people that do deal with a lot of oppression tend to get some of their choices removed.
I can acknowledge that, yes.
My name is Hanifa. I'm an author,
What
and
the
I'm currently
fuck?
homeless, so I don't make any money right now. I grew up
Damn.
Muslim my entire life, and in Islam, it is permissible to marry your cousin.
Whoa.
So my family enforced sexual acts in between cousins. It led to me having to flee my hometown
What the
and come all the way to
fuck?
California, which is 2,600 miles away, just so that I can avoid being killed.
I've worried where my next meal will come from.
What? Wait, this is a financial fucking
will come from.
fucking YouTube channel or what? What's going
I've
on?
worried
Okay.
where my next meal will come from.
I've worried where my next
Me
meal will
and
come
my
from.
partner right now
Me,
are
fortunately,
applying
not.
for EBT
Thank God.
because we are just like living check to check right now, and I'm supporting both of us because she just lost her job. We are like literally trying to get help from the government so that we can know that we have the funds to get groceries. It's so hard, and it feels like.
What do you say?
And IBT.
Yo.
What is EBT?
Me and my partner right now are
What is
applying
EBT?
for EBT.
I'm sure just like some
because we are
government
just,
aid
like,
or something?
Living check to check right now, and I'm supporting both of us
food
because
stamps?
she just lost her job. We are like literally trying to get help from the government so that we can know that we have the funds
Yeah.
to get groceries. It's so hard, and it feels like it's not as accessible as people make it seem.
To have everything stripped away from you and to not know where you're gonna sleep.
Honestly, if
It's
that
just
is true,
very
what happened
difficult.
there, that is
You
like
know,
just
I almost was
very
like a past
odd
life of
and
having
sad.
like everything. You know, I had bags. I had to take my little Michael Kors back to the pawn shop, take every item of clothing that I had to Plato's Closet so that I could buy a one-way ticket
What
for
happened to
myself
her?
and my
Her like
child.
family
I
tried
didn't
to
know what we were gonna
assassinate
eat.
her or
I didn't know where
something.
we were gonna sleep, and not to be a
That is,
victim,
like,
but it's not
kinda
my
just
fault why
very
I'm here.
odd,
You know,
but-
it's because I speak out against cult behavior. I speak out against pedophilia, and publishing my story has the domino effect of that has led me to not knowing where I'm going to eat, and I've never had that happen to me before prior to 4 months ago, and that's just really tough.
Thank you for sharing your story. That's really powerful. And yeah, like if you need help, like after this, let's just talk. And that pulls on my heartstrings because my mother raised us 3 kids by herself, and my
He's
father
gonna get
was
her
a
into the
wife
fucking
beater.
real
He was
estate
also a
business.
child molester, so anyone listening can connect the dots on that. I feel for you.
I almost want to jump out because it was only a short period of time, you know, and just that short period of time when you're busted or whatever, and you're just like whatever. But you guys were like in the real thick of it. You guys were in the trenches. I visited the trenches for like a couple
You had a
months.
toe.
I had a toe in the trenches, you know.
So I'm getting paid paycheck to paycheck, and on top of that, I have a crippling gambling addiction. I'm addicted to weed. I'm addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to vaping. And as soon as I have that direct deposit, it's like I have no control. Almost like I go,
All
like I
on
black
red?
out and I start gambling, start ordering drinks, start ordering weed, and then I come out of that no control feeling, and I'm like thinking, how am I gonna feed my pets this week? My cat, my dog. Like I had all these plans up to my payday. Before I know it, all my money's gone, and
Damn.
it's addiction.
When you're in a position
Damn.
when you don't have a lot
That
of
is
money,
crazy.
you can't do a lot of things for fun, and you're often just like
It's so-
working.
it's just
I
crazy, bro.
have to survive. I have to feed myself.
How people
And
think
so when you get
differently.
that
Everyone
paycheck,
thinks
and you
differently.
have
It's
just
just
a
so
little bit
weird.
of enough money to do something
just
that will
weird.
spark joy for you. It's so hard to be like, no, I'll put it aside to save. It's like, I'll just do this one thing for myself. I'll just treat myself, and then it's like, Well, now it's gone.
I
Now,
completely understand what you're saying, and I used to think like
He
that
said
too, but I also thought.
Well, I love gambling too, but I would just never become addicted. Like I can't just ever. It just will never happen, and I know it won't happen. So I don't know how other people can, but it's just like I don't know. But I know why. Like
I would rather not have that instant gratification, because the gratification of being
it's just weird.
Infinitely stable or more stable is more important. My name is Brittany. I am a holistic health practitioner, and I make around $130,000 a year.
That's it?
My relationship with my brother
in LA? Should we move to the poor side?
Has literally crumbled since I have acquired more money. He only calls me when he needs something. The only person that I really have a relationship is my mom. I haven't spoken to my brother. I want them to be happy and, you know, and successful more than anything. But it almost feels dehumanizing to be looked at as just the help and not a sister or a cousin or something like that, yeah.
My name is Mia, and I'm currently working as a customer service representative for a moving and storage company. I make $45K a year. My family has always been like, oh, you gotta look presentable, you gotta look nice whenever we're going out to eat or to the mall. But as an adult, you know, a lot of my money isn't going towards buying new clothes or jewelry, makeup,
going
whatever
straight
it might
to the
be.
gambling.
So you'll catch me in like sweats and a t-shirt, and I just don't feel presentable enough to be at the mall, to be at a restaurant, because of that embarrassing feeling and shame of not investing more in how I present myself.
The disagreeer.
Damn.
Out back there.
You know,
Yo, dialect.
I feel like I misunderstood the
Suat
prompt.
dialect. Thanks for the 25 Vifter, bro. You gifted 10 the other day. I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
College, I was trying to buy groceries,
25 is crazy.
and the lady behind me ended up paying groceries for me, and it's so embarrassing because my car got maxed out and I had no money in the bank account, basically.
$15 an hour is not enough for minimum wage.
Well, I feel like it like depends where you live. I think that question is just open ended.
For you two, you both mentioned that
like if you live in Alabama, I feel like that's fine.
As soon as you get a paycheck, it's gone, whether it's gambling or weed.
Because
or
like
shopping,
the cost to live in Alabama is like zero, no?
Or whatever.
In LA, obviously not, but
if you had a higher income, would that change?
Personally, yes, because the whole reason I gamble is like, let me get that $60,000 win and I'll stop gambling. That's my mindset, right? And another thing is, I feel like if I were to have like passive income, I guess you can say, or be financially stable, I can
what'd you say?
Addiction, and that is.
What was the prompt?
For minimum wage.
Okay.
I did have a question for you two. You both mentioned that you suffer from addiction, and that as soon as you get a paycheck, it's gone, whether it's gambling or weed or shopping or whatever. If you had a higher income, would that change?
Personally, yes, because
Hell
the whole
no.
reason I gamble is like, let me get that $60,000 win and I'll stop gambling. That's my mindset.
Hell
and another
no.
thing is, I feel like if I were to have like passive income, I guess you can say, or
Hell
be
no.
financially stable, I can pursue and distract myself with my
that
actual
is
passions.
straight delusional. Because once you get to 60K, wait, 100K is hella close. And if you somehow get to 100K, wait, 200K and we're actually just like done. And then you probably won't get the 200K. 200K, wait, 1 million is like within reach. It's just a 5x right now. You know, like,
I want to start a true crime YouTube channel, but I don't have the laptop, I don't have the camera. The addiction takes control, so I don't think about the things I don't have, and I just feel numb and thoughtless, and I'm just enjoying my TV. And so yeah, I feel like it would change. I would be able to have other distractions that are beneficial to me in a positive way.
If you had more money, you could probably have access to help, like medical help.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
psychiatrists, because that's really expensive, and you can't afford it living off of minimum wage. You know.
I feel like a lot of jobs will pay minimum wage, but they will expect maximum effort. And I'm like, if you're gonna pay me minimum wage, I'm putting in the bare minimum effort.
I've always looked at it the opposite way.
Wait,
Like, if I go
what he said
into-
is just not true. I feel like companies who are paying minimum wage do not expect maximum effort. Like, do you think a McDonald's is gonna expect maximum performance from someone?
Company, and they're paying me minimum wage. I do everything that I can to get promoted. Hi, my name is Todd. I am 29 years old. I am a real estate investor and a YouTuber, and I make about $1.4 million per year. When
Yes,
you
they
grow
do.
up the way I did with
Bro, no
money
one gives their
and
fucking
your
effort in
mom
that.
is struggling and
Which is
crying
fine.
yourself to sleep
I
every
wouldn't
night
either.
because you can't pay the bills, that takes a toll on you as a kid and seeing that struggle. I got my first job when I was 12 years old, literally shoveling horse poop for $3 an hour. And I looked at myself when I was 12 years old and I was like, you've got to make $1 million a year by the time you're 30.
My name is Sean. I'm 23 years old. I'm a musician and content creator, and I make minimum wage at a retail job. If I wasn't having to work every day to pay my rent, then I would have more time to make music and connect with people and find venues to perform my music. And if I had the money, I would be able to market and promote my music so that it could reach a wider audience.
For large companies, their models rely on people putting maximum effort. I don't think you know what the word maximum is, bro. I don't think anyone here understands what maximum means. There's very rare occasions where you would put in max effort for something.
My mindset is working minimum wage is always temporary. It's always been like, okay, we work minimum wage, but we're gonna work harder to get promoted, and then we're gonna do something else with our lives.
Many, many, many years ago, you could go live off the land. You didn't have to work for somebody in order to survive. All the land is taken. It's in federal land. You can't go fishing in these federal streams. You can't do that. So that's not possible at scale. In order to survive, you must work for someone else. That forces wages down, right? People can't just go, F you, I'm not gonna work, I'm gonna chill and work on my novel or do whatever. So that's the part where I agree with you on, like, I'm a supporter of UBI so that people aren't forced to work. Now, where I disagree is that we don't pay people based on what they need. And you were kind of pointing to this. I give the minimum effort if you pay me minimum wage. But there's certain jobs that are not worth $15 an hour, just frankly not worth it. Maybe they're worth $5, maybe they're worth $2. I want you to watch TV for an hour in your house and tell me how many commercials come up, because I'm doing a survey. I want to pay you $7 an hour. You think I have to pay you $15 an hour for that? Or would you take $7 an hour to sit on your couch and count commercials that show up on a television?
I mean, yeah, I would take any money.
Okay, so everybody here agreed that it should be $15 an hour minimum wage.
Yeah.
But by making the wage $15 an hour, you just eliminated a job that he's willing to do.
More money, more problems.
Why is she bro, you don't have a lot of money.
But that's
Yo,
a path
chill.
that I'm willing to take on because
You live in California making $100K a year, bro. Chill.
I can't imagine going back there. I made it a point to position myself adjacent to people who I felt like I could learn from. I remember parking my little Chevy Cruze up off of Griffith Observatory in Hollywood Hills just to be around money.
What?
You guys
That's
mind
fire.
if I start?
I respect that.
A lot of the problems in my life would be solved with just, not even if I was rich, but just like a little bit more money. I would just have so much less stress and less things to worry about, and I wouldn't be finding myself in these situations where I'm worried about how am I going to pay rent, how am I going to get gas to drive, how am I going to eat.
More money, like more social responsibility, right? Going back to.
What does that mean?
Like if you're a billionaire, then you have social responsibility to take care of people who might have less than you.
Really? I'm not seeing that. In modern day life.
You got a billionaire beef.
Bro.
You got a billionaire beef.
Like, this guy sees all the negatives in things. Like, what do you mean you're not seeing that? I'm sure if I looked up Elon Musk donation, you can probably see how much he's donated, like crazy amount. I don't actually know. I'm just saying. Any billionaire, you just look at any charity fund, like they probably donated so much fucking money. What is this guy saying? He's just lying for no reason, just to be mad at like rich people.
I want to add real quick to what you were saying, that I had my first felony when I was 14 years old. I had gotten a DUI in 2018, so I was still going in and out of courthouses. I'm struggling trying to get a job, applying, getting interviews, getting a job offer, background check, offer rescinded, and that hurts a lot.
Obviously, it's tax
I'm
write-off,
over here
but
watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Yolanda Hadid's daughter just so happens to also get a DUI, but she's taking off in her modeling career like it was just a hiccup. I'm also seeing cases of affluenza.
Yeah, that's true. But
where this kid driving his dad's truck drunk killed someone, and he gets off for affluenza, which means you're too rich to know what's good or bad, so you don't get any repercussions.
I've never.
Yeah,
so
it was
to
in
me,
Hollywood.
What?
I agree with my punishments. I messed up. And
Is that
I
a
will
thing?
Accept it.
But you want it to be fair treatment.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because
you've
when
done
I
your
see
time.
that, it's just slap in the face. Like, what is the justice system? That's not justice.
Listen, I like the song "More Money, More Problems."
I like it too.
It's jamming,
I love
but
the song.
it's really more money, different problems.
Yes.
And that's a cut.
Okay.
We did it.
That's a wrap.
That was not bad.
Oh, we don't
Is it
code.
Python?
No, we don't code our software. Just
When you're young, you're not thinking, and everybody has made a bad choice. And because you stressed out, you go change your gender. Because you want to try something new, once you do it, you can't go back. The more you throw stuff at kids before they develop, that's indoctrination.
When Jubilee created Middle Ground, the intention was to whether your or take the quiz and share the results. We encourage you to do the same.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Cancel culture is a good thing.
We have the freedom to say what you want, but everyone else has the freedom to respond and cancel you if you say something that is racist, homophobic, transphobic, etc. Cancel culture is definitely good in the means of like deplatforming people who are spreading very hateful messages.
What is your opinion on Trump being cancelled on Twitter?
When you go onto Twitter or whatever, you check I accept the, guidelines, the community guidelines, I agree to follow them, and he didn't follow them, so Twitter has the right to take him off the app.
And for people that might make the counter argument that Twitter is biased and will only cancel right-wing politicians, that's not true at all. Twitter and other forms of social media have canceled left-wing activists. There is an equal balance on both sides.
You brought up canceling him off Twitter. I'm sorry, I disagree. When the Taliban can use our social media, but an ex-president can't.
This video is just so legendary.
Did the Taliban violate community guidelines?
It doesn't matter.
I think it matters to Twitter what their community guidelines are. That's why they banned Trump, because Trump violated community guidelines. That's what every platform has, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, Instagram.
The Taliban.
Wait, what is this kid saying?
People because they're gay.
If they've done that and they've posted videos of stoning gay people, I agree, they should be removed, and that is fundamentally wrong. So it's
There you go. That's what you're supposed to say.
Well, then why wasn't Trump
then the
smart enough to
president
not do
wasn't
that?
smart enough to not do that, I guess.
If I'm an American and I have to vote between this person, I need equal access to both of them to decide what's right. Bro, you could be a Klansman, you could say you hate black people. That's not my job to police your language. I can't expect everybody to love me and think the way I think. All y'all think different. I mean, that's totally dope. But the fact that you want somebody removed because they think differently, that could be you one day.
Do you think freedom of speech is something that still exists in America?
We do have aspects of freedom of speech. Like you can't go into a movie theater and yell fire. So obviously there are limits of freedom of speech.
But they're picking and choosing who they're silencing and who they're letting talk.
If people react negatively to what you say, it goes both ways. You can't just say that, oh, they
100%.
can't. Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
America is becoming less and less safe.
I think so.
I'll leave this to you guys.
So I have a lot of friends that have been in the military for the last 20 years because they refused to get vaccinated. They told me that they would be dishonorably discharged or kicked out of the military. I just believe we're losing a lot of good servicemen with the current situation that we're in right now.
A lot of police officers are down.
He made about COVID?
Crime is up all over. When police aren't there, we're murdering each other at a really high rate. Police are in those neighborhoods because the homicide rate is high. Y'all can run around talking about police all you want, but I challenge any of these liberal kids to spend 2 weeks in the environment I grew up in, and I promise your perspective will change.
The one advantage we have about being older, we've been through a threat or two. And our enemies, like China, the Communist Party in China, they're laughing at us. Russia's like, we don't need to do much. They're gonna screw it up on their own.
Who invited Unc?
Get the help of our younger people that haven't been through a threat before. to realize a lot of what's going on is not good. My name is Mike. I'm 59 years old, and I'm a conservative parent. You know, growing up in the 1980s,
bro looks like 82.
You know, that was a huge influence on me, and it formed my views, and the people that I was around is the reason why I'm a conservative parent. I think America should be more middle of the road and not be necessarily more liberal, and if anything, it should be a hint more on the conservative side, because we're going to watch our freedoms get extinguished or encroached if we don't guard those freedoms.
Well, I actually agree with this guy. I feel like, bro, everyone should just be like a middle. Why is everyone on one side of something? I never understood that. There's no way someone just believes everything in one side of something.
I actually
it can't
wish
be true.
I came up here
like,
to
I don't
the agreeing
understand.
section because I think I interpreted the definition of safety the same way that you guys did, but after hearing your guys' conversation, I started thinking about how our American people aren't safe in the face of like imminent like climate disasters that are coming our way, and how we don't have the infrastructure to deal with that.
I actually very much agree with that, because I think we need to define like kind of like what we mean by like we're less safe now. Do we mean like there's more homicides after COVID?
Bro,
or,
that's
like,
not what we were talking about, bro.
Before we got rid of half our military, half our police force, you know, slavery was legal. The Holocaust was legal. So we can look at all of these mass atrocities and say we're doing what's right. Everybody who was a part of the Holocaust government, they were doing what Hitler said. They were doing what was right. So everybody losing their job for not getting vaxxed, and all the vax people, you got who can we control? Everybody who get the shot, that's who's gonna do what we say. The enemies are coming, and we don't care about that because we want to care about what color we should wear and pride and critical race theories. Like no one.
No,
else
you have to
cares
listen
about that.
carefully
That's
what he's
not
saying.
Holocaust
He's
government.
not saying the Holocaust was right. He's saying like, how do you guys not understand?
Military, half our police force, you know, slavery was legal. The Holocaust was legal. So we can look at all of these mass atrocities and say we're doing what's right. Everybody who was a part of the Holocaust government, they were doing what Hitler said. They were doing what was right. So everybody losing their job for not getting vaxxed, and all the vax people, you got who can we control?
It was not legal, dog. What are you talking about? It probably was legal in Germany because Hitler was the fucking leader of Germany. So he made it legal. Like, what are you talking about?
Get the shot, that's who's gonna do what we say. The enemies are coming, and we don't care about that because we want to care about what color we should wear and pride and critical race theories.
This guy's not saying Hitler's good or what he did was good, obviously. He's like explaining something.
Who get the shot, that's who's gonna do what we say. The enemies are coming, and we don't care about that because we want to care about what color we should wear and pride and critical race theories. Like no one else cares about that but us in America. That's our problem.
So you think that talking about sexual orientation and all that kind of stuff takes away from the safety of our country?
Who you sleep with has no merit in the real world.
What?
What does it matter?
Okay, let's just broaden the scope. With the coronavirus pandemic, why did it take weeks for us as a country to mobilize together to fight the public health crisis that was already
what that girl asked, like
the nation?
Yeah, I think it does.
Trump out of office. It's all fake. It's my opinion.
I agree with you. I don't think that we could create, or the Democrats could create some international plan, getting all of these scientific communities outside of just the US and even international governments on their side for something that they're just trying to get Trump out of office. I feel like that's heavily ridiculous.
Trump was the thorn that nobody saw coming, and they had to find a way to get him out of there. If there's no mail-in voting, 100% Trump is the president right now, 100%.
Yeah, because overwhelmingly mail-in ballots were to Biden, and that's obvious. Like,
exactly.
It's not because mail-in ballots are fraudulent, because mail-in ballots are actually not fraudulent at all. That this election was the safest election in recorded history.
There's a lot of videos.
Okay. Like, I'm not, bro. You have to be extremely delusional, I think, to like not believe there's any sort of like rigging going on, but for both sides, not just one side. Like there obviously there's some insane levels of rigging going on for sure. That's guaranteed. But to both sides, that kid is just delusional for sure.
Fake ballots, so that's here and there. I'm not.
That's just hearsay from random people on TikTok. Are we really gonna like take that as like empirical evidence?
It's personal opinion.
My name is Parker. I'm 19 and I'm a liberal. My sisters and I have become a lot more liberal, a lot more left-leaning over time while my parents have stayed a bit conservative. Before, when I was a conservative, I kind of just went off a lot of the indoctrination and propaganda that was spread to me when I was a kid. I grew up on the fact that, oh, we shouldn't have increased taxes because taxes are just negatively affecting us. Personal responsibility isn't what a lot of the decisions people make in society is based on. It's mainly based upon their environments, how they're socialized by their parents, people around them, things like that.
My news source is more reliable than the other side's.
When I look at conservative news, I see a lot of conspiracies that I don't necessarily agree with. And so if everything comes from opinion and just people developing their own ideas, it just doesn't seem reliable to me.
I feel like the only way we can get
I feel like any news source is unreliable.
News media organizations to stop prioritizing having really vivid headlines that might not necessarily be 100% accurate.
I think that starts with putting people over profit. They want the biggest story or whatever, and they don't want to actually give the news that would be beneficial to our everyday average Americans. And I think that if we put a lot more focus on putting people first instead of the big news or the big story, we can change that aspect of society.
I agree with you 100%. Like I say the civil rights movement is the civil rights entertainment industry because it's so profitable. Put a police shooting on TV, it's breaking news, every headline, it's on every social media, you're selling shirts, you're selling signs. That's so much more profitable than showing me and you shaking hands. The news media is literally capitalizing off the emotions of society. No matter how you feel about it, handle it in your privacy of your house. Why? Because if you can do it on camera, somebody's gonna make $1 off of it, and that's not fair to you.
Young people today are too sensitive.
100%. 1000%.
So I think it's a good thing that young people are sensitive. I think today they can be more sensitive than what they probably could have been 30 or 40 years ago. You know, the growing up was the Berlin crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, we had the threat of annihilation, you know, staring at us several times. And a lot of times I go, you know,
this guy
thank
talking
God
about
John Kennedy handled it.
The country has been spoiled for so long. They're trying to make it so a man can't be a man. And if you don't let men be men, then things start crumbling. Society crumbles, families crumble, and broken homes start happening.
And kids need their fathers. So 36% of kids don't have a father. So every boy is, well, my mom is mad at me, my dad don't love me, my dad don't care about me. Maybe I should be gay, maybe I should be trans,
Okay.
I don't know who I am. And your father puts confidence in you. No disrespect to anybody, but the younger generation of men are soft. And if we had to go to war, they're not protecting America. There's no better place to be as a black individual or whatever you are in America. Go to the Middle East right now and say you gay or you trans and see how they treat you. Johnny, I'm 32 years old, and I am a conservative parent. My grandfather was a no-excuse individual. He grew up in the Jim Crow South, but he worked hard. The house that he bought is still in our family today. He had a garden in his backyard. If you step past a certain line, he got on you. So to watch the men before me who really could have been lynched for stepping out of line, who really could have went through a hardship for not doing what society said, the worst thing that can happen to me is I get a mean tweet or a dislike. So I gotta fully embrace who I am, and I know I can create anything with my two hands.
Respect for that, actually.
I'm Hannah, I'm 17, and I'm a liberal.
He's very aware.
I really want equality for all, and the liberal policies that have been passed side more with my values of equality for those who are on the LGBTQ, those who are on the gender spectrum. Something about conservative parents that I don't like is whenever I come across them, they seem to be very rooted in their ways and not willing to listen to someone who's a teenager like me. They think more like, oh, because I'm older, I have more knowledge.
I don't think she sees the irony in what she's saying, though.
Can we have the
Which is
disability
like,
step forward?
I guess, being young.
This idea that because men are being raised by women that they're weaker is, in my opinion, completely false. Our generation, it's not more sensitive, we're more aware of all these things. Being transgender and gay is not something that should be ashamed of or make you feel less. In today's society, that is why women are fighting for equality, because this idea that because they only have a mom, they're weaker, or because, you know, they're more sensitive, that's, in my opinion, completely false.
And I would say in the environment that I grew up in, the teen pregnancies come from girls without fathers. The homicides come from people without fathers. Every girl that I know, if they grow up with a daddy, they get married before they have a kid.
Why do they not have fathers?
If you want me to be real, because a lot of women make bad choices on the men they procreate with. If you make a bad choice, that's your responsibility. Every bad thing that I did in my life, it was when my daddy was in jail. When my dad was out and I had my dad's reassurance, I was a better person.
I had one daughter that had to move across the country to get rid of a toxic relationship with somebody that was harming them.
Why does the woman have to move across the country because the man is being toxic? Why can't the man be taught, don't be toxic?
Bro, we're talking about like
Women
random
nowadays have to
situations.
deal with those kinds of relationships. The women, the mother knows better, I would say, than the father about that.
We're not more sensitive, there's just more opportunities for us to be sensitive. You can say like 15, 20 years ago, there weren't videos of black men being shot by police all over the internet. Now that that's there, people are more inclined to feel a certain way or take a stance on that topic.
Do you think it would be more beneficial to show police also interacting with white guys? Because more white guys get killed than black guys by cops.
If you look at the amount of white people and the amount of black people, there are going to be more white people killed because there are more white people in America. The percentage of black people that are being killed is higher than the percentage of white people.
Well, just because you're pulled over doesn't mean you have to resist. I mean, they don't just kill you when they pull you over. It's all about based on how you perform as an individual. I've been pulled over and never had a bad interaction.
That's what I was gonna say.
I snatched out the car.
Like TikTok or all these like clips have like legit made people think that they see this one clip and this happens every time, 100% of the time or something. Like, bro, if there's a cop going up to some black dude's car, they're not just instantly killing him, bro. This is like a rare occasion, but people act like it's just happening like 100% chance rate or something.
Everything is a personal
But that's just because of social media has just made it like
choice. If you can't take accountability for your life, then you will forever be a slave.
That's not true. There are definitely issues on the side of policing. Black communities, majority POC communities are over-policed. There's larger patrols in black communities. There are police work longer hours in majority black communities. So there's an issue from the policing side as well.
Politics
Fun
has
there.
damaged my relationship with a loved one.
I'm sure you could relate to this as well, but in the Asian community, there's a lot of anti-blackness. So with the advent of the Black Lives Matter...
What was the question?
Damaged my relationship with a loved one.
I'm sure you could relate to this as well, but in the Asian community, there's a lot of anti-blackness. So with the advent of the Black Lives Matter movement this past year, having conversations with my parents was really difficult, especially around the nuances of racial justice and sort of like what the movement was fighting for and how to articulate that in like the very closed mindset that my parents had.
A lot of my family voted for
These
Trump
guys
in
need
the
to grow
past
up,
election,
bro.
and I don't necessarily
Life is
agree
way
with
too
that.
short to like.
I don't like to say
I
this,
hate
but
my
maybe
parents
the
now because they
world
have a
little bit
different view than me.
differently,
Like it's
they're
just so
willing to
sad
adapt
to
and
even like hear.
change was
It's just so sad.
different, and I was just like shocked because I wanted to understand their side and really talk about it, and I was met with "you're wrong," and we don't want to talk about it, and that kind of really damaged just kind of the way I looked at them.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I also think that it just made me less willing to expend the energy to have political or like just like any like hard conversations.
They'll actually
with
regret their
parents or
lives later
of anyone else
when
in
they're
my
like 50
family.
and their parents die.
My name is Rithwick. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a liberal. I grew up in a low-income immigrant household,
100%.
And I think the
That is
systems that are
sad.
in place right now aren't sufficient enough to support people, Americans like myself or my family. Because my parents were immigrants, I think they were liberal on issues like immigration and things that directly affected them. I'd like to ask to the conservative parents why they don't necessarily listen or adapt their own beliefs, whether political or social, based on the conversations they have with their children and why they're so set in their ways.
Wait, but that's like.
You know, I read a lot of the tragic
Is that not
stories
just
where
ironic?
Family members.
I feel like from both sides, they're just like
Personally,
like
I
that.
think that's sad. Do all my
Should
family
we
members
be so
vote the
like
same?
aware here or
No.
something? Just
Do we
shameless,
have a pretty
bro.
good idea of how family members may have voted? Yeah, but we went more of agree to disagree. I'm not going to not buy you a present for Christmas because you
Exactly.
decided to vote for somebody that.
Exactly. This guy has it.
like.
Bro, life's too short, bro. We have 80 years, if that. What? We're like literally not gonna talk to our parents anymore, hate them because of like this. This makes no sense.
Families are special.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, this guy's saying exactly what it is.
And we've got too many people, as you've talked about, that don't have them.
When I took
Literally.
this prompt, I kind of took it more of like my view of the person changed differently because
Yeah, you just hate
not
your
just the way they
parents
voted,
now.
but because some of their values to me were, like he said, moral values, and that shows kind of part of their characters.
Would you say that
Shameless.
morality is subjective to each individual person, though? Or would you say morals are the same across the board?
The basic is human equality for all. And so if
Okay.
you don't believe that somebody should have an equality based on their gender, their sexual orientation,
Whoever said they didn't.
their race, or anything like that, that's a moral
Whoever
that's a
said they
moral
didn't.
problem in my eyes.
100% her parents did not say that. She's just lying for no reason now.
Thing with the trans and the gay and the LGBTQ and all that whole thing. So I grew up LDS, being Utah County, it's like 95% Mormon. At 8 years old is when you get baptized. And so if you're raised around where 95% of people think the exact same way, I feel like that's too young of an age where you're a child and you don't really know what you're doing. And so where I have a problem with, the trans or these different things is they're getting kids at like 10, 12 years old and they're pushing them down that path.
Who's they?
Who's they?
Who's indoctrinating these kids into becoming LGBTQ and et cetera?
There's a lot of groups out there.
Like?
I've just heard that there's groups out there. I don't know. You don't think there's groups out there that do that?
No.
I'm assuming you're a straight man, so I think it's weird for you to comment on the queer experience and what that's like for someone growing up who's struggling with those experiences. The way you're describing it as indoctrination, people who are figuring out their sexualities and their queer identities aren't necessarily going to ascribe to the first labels that are put before them.
If I'm not mistaken, the brain isn't fully developed until you're 25 years old, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So I know how I used to think at 16. Man, I know how I used to think at 21. Man, I'm not against kids doing whatever they want. It's just the older you get, you change. I got my first tattoo at 15. I'm covered now. If I was a little older, I probably would have waited. When you're young, you're not thinking. And everybody has made a bad choice. And because you stressed out, you go change your gender. Because you want to try something new, once you do it, you can't go back. The more you throw stuff at kids before they develop, that's indoctrination, because you're trying to get them while they're not fully cognizant to know what's going on.
The older you get, the more conservative you become.
When I got older and I had kids...
That shouldn't even be like controversial,
Because
bro.
you're trying
If you're
to
like
get them-
below like 10, bro, and you're somehow able to get like
you're not
transgender treatment, that is just insanity. I think.
fully cognizant
That's
to know what's
insanity.
going on.
The older you get, the more
That's like
conservative you
absolute
become.
like you like sick to the stomach, just like nasty shit. Like that's
When I got
nasty.
older and I had kids and I had a family, I actually started reading policies. Everything about me changed when I became a father, because I had a reason to. And I'm sure you would agree with that.
Yeah. As I've gotten older and the environment we're in right now, I feel like they're trying to cancel the Constitution. They're trying to cancel Christianity.
I mean, most teenagers are liberal. I was liberal when I was teen. It's fun. Culture.
Yeah,
is
if you're like
liberal.
20 or
And
something,
when you're
it's
younger,
just,
you're going to
yeah,
be a part
fuck
of
it.
culture.
Right.
When you're
Do whatever
older,
you
you're trying to
fucking
raise
wanna
your
do.
family. You don't
It's
have
your
time to
fucking
care
life.
What LeBron James said.
Like,
or who did that.
if you're like
Just when you
12,
mature, you
13,
value what's
that's
around you.
not okay.
My
That
name
is like pure evil.
I'm 36 years old and I'm a conservative parent. My dad's kind of my idol. I've seen him basically build a very successful life and seen how simple he's lived his life through prayer and through just basic conservative principles. Being raised up LDS or Mormon, I saw a lot of just judgment.
That
and
seems
so I
very
don't necessarily believe
100%
that
right.
you have to be in a religion, but I do believe in prayer. I've been all across the board as far as the way my life has gone, and at my happiest times, I've lived by conservative values.
Building off of what you're saying about like teenagers,
All the power
we're a
to them.
different generation, and so we view the world differently, and I think that's probably why you've seen more teenagers be liberal, because we just view the world that way, but I don't think it has anything to do with
No, my generation, I was liberal too when I was a teenager, and all my friends were too. And when you're a teenager, life is fun. It's just totally, you kick it, you party. So that's what I'm saying. I get the teenage. As you grow, you either can run away from responsibility or embrace responsibility. When there's real things going on, you start looking at life a little different. Versus when I was young, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about corporate gains tax, and I didn't know about my stock account, and I didn't know that I can, all these things that I didn't know when I was a kid.
So when people are generally talking about taxing the rich more, they're talking about the top 400 billionaires that are literally paying a lower effective tax rate in taxes than the middle class. The top 400 billionaires paying an effective tax rate of 8%, that's obviously not a fair share. And I think obviously everyone can agree here that they should be paying at least a fair share, right?
How do you increase taxes on someone's assets, though? Most of those billionaires aren't.
Unrealized capital gains is how they're specifically trying to do it now, but it would be through long-term capital gains because a lot of the people who are paying those taxes, they're paying capital
This
gains
subject
tax
I don't
rate.
give a
There's
fuck
also
for.
tax loopholes that have been lobbied into Congress by big corporations and big businesses lobbying politicians to get whatever they want.
So if you get older and you work yourself off and you become a multimillionaire, you deserve to pay
Because
more
you're
other
rich,
people
that
didn't work as hard
would
as
make
you.
no
But it's not
sense.
because
If I
other
was
people
rich,
didn't
then
work
I
as
would
hard.
care about this topic more, no? What do you mean? I just don't care. 50% tax, 20% tax, who cares,
As a
bro?
society,
Just set a
we have to
tax
give
rate. I
everyone
don't give a
access to
fuck.
Things like basic necessities like healthcare, education, have everyone have an equal opportunity. We don't have that right now.
You can have equal opportunity of a baseline, but the outcome would still be different because every individual is going to work different levels.
Well,
right?
obviously, yeah.
Right, so I think that's where we are as a society. I was able to pull it off. I graduated high school with a 1.9 GPA. I don't have a college degree. So the only limits are the limits you place on yourself. That's just my perspective.
America is the best country in the world.
I probably would agree.
I think despite all of our challenges and problems, when you look at all the other countries of the world, everybody is still trying to come here.
The way I can talk out loud, the way I can feel myself, the way I can express myself fully as an individual, it ain't many places black men can go do that outside of America.
3 years ago, when I got into the court systems and the different rights taken away from me and government control and government power. And so when you have that stuff stripped away from you and you realize most other countries don't have the freedom that America has. America has been the greatest country ever, and I think it will continue because of a lot of good people that stand up for the right things.
I think I would like to ask the question, what is America the best at?
I think we just was talking about the freedoms that we have here versus what they don't have in other countries.
So what about places in Scandinavia that actually have higher amounts of freedom? They have better democracies than we do here, higher quality of life, higher median income. They have healthcare systems that are more efficient, that take care of everyone in their population, more access to education.
But when you look at the big picture, everybody wants to come here. Millions of people are not trying to get into Scandinavia.
Why?
Because we have more opportunity than any other place in the world.
We don't even make the top 25 in women equality.
But we have a better opportunity to do something about it compared to other countries. And I would love it for Europe to open their borders the way we have and see if you can get people from other parts of the world to do mass migration to Europe.
I was going to mention Scandinavian countries as well, but I think it's also important to address that Scandinavian countries are very homogenous, racially, socioeconomically. They don't face the same geographic diversity that
100%.
we were
This guy's
mentioning
right.
with the fact that we have the opportunity to write with women inequality. Why is that not happening? It's because the way our democracy is set up, our Congress is literally in a gridlock right now, as it has been for so many past sessions of Congress. We aren't getting anything productive done.
The opportunity we have here is incredible.
that's just
and I'm
politics.
very happy that I live here and not somewhere else.
Unfortunately.
But we are so focused on, oh, America is the best, that we don't look at these other countries and say, why are all those people so happy and what is that and how can we incorporate that into our society?
I mean, I would say I think diversity is good. I think diversity of thought and diversity of opinion it's super helpful. It's really easy to get clogged up into this groupthink. So I don't expect anyone else to agree with me or feel the way I feel. I just expect you to respect my right to feel this way. I respect your right to feel this way, and we keep it moving.
Not anymore. Scandinavian countries are full of migrants now. Bro,
Awesome, that's a wrap.
there's absolutely 0% chance that Scandinavia is fucking more diverse than America. America has to be one of the most diverse countries in the world, if not the most diverse, no? Yeah, while being way bigger as well. Oh, that was an okay video. Not bad. When those kids grow up, they'll learn more about setting their differences aside. Life is not about politics. but I think their world is about politics at the moment. What should we watch? Everything is political if you make it political. Liberal parents versus conservative teens? Is that a thing? Like the opposite? What?
Middle ground is a social experiment that brings humans with opposing beliefs together.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. The government has no right to tell people what to do with their body.
Vaccines.
That's... Yeah, I don't think
this guy had to remind them.
Okay. I stood here because of vaccines, but I know a lot of you guys probably look at me like, oh, what about abortion? Now, the thing is, when it comes to abortion, two bodies are involved. It's the woman and it's the fetus. The fetus, you know, has a heartbeat, it has DNA. It should have rights.
When?
Life begins at conception.
That's not when the heart's there.
Heartbeat starts at 4 weeks. It's not just a clump of cells, it is life. At 21 weeks, it can live outside of the womb. Abortion ends with murder and death.
Over 90% of abortions happen within the first 10 weeks.
That's still, I think that's not acceptable.
But they still have the potential of having life, though. The mortality rate of a fetus getting aborted is 100%. It's going to die when it's aborted.
And you're very lucky you'll never have to experience what it's like to have to make that choice.
But what if I become a father and
Jesus.
The woman who I got pregnant wants to have an abortion? It's going to affect me.
You would have a discussion with your partner then and decide what you're going to do and be glad that you have a choice to even discuss with that partner.
Unfortunately, human nature, if you take away the option or the right to do that, then they'll find it another way.
And it will be unsafe.
And would you support the mom? Would you support the mom in that scenario?
If the mom had an abortion or the mom went...
No, if she gave birth.
Oh, I actually agree with what that guy just said.
Even discuss with that partner.
That's true.
Unfortunately, human nature, if you take away the option or the right to do that, then they'll find it another way.
And it will be unsafe.
And would you support the mom? Would you support the mom in that scenario?
If the mom had an abortion or the mom went...
No, if she gave birth.
Oh, of course. I would support her. I'd say what you do is a good thing. And
No. Support her financially for the rest of her life or for the rest of the baby's life.
Are you talking about like, what do you mean?
That guy doesn't seem,
that
guy seems pretty smart.
I don't care about this. The government should have to tell you that you have to. But you then have to suffer the consequences of your choices, which means you cannot patronize certain places. You can't put other people at risk.
I know you're saying they're doing it to protect us, but the coronavirus has, I think, a survival rate of almost 98%, 99%, and we're mandating these vaccines. Why are we not mandating the flu?
What's frightening to me is that you're equating some minor inconveniences in your privileged life to
Why would you assume my life is privileged?
Unsupported,
But why would you assume my life is privileged, though? You don't know my life. I mean, I don't say that about you. Why would you assume my life is privileged?
I'm privileged.
Okay, that's fine, but why would you assume my life is privileged?
For one, you're a man.
You know, most people commit suicide are men. Most people who work in dangerous workplaces are men.
Okay, what she said was just retarded.
I'm privileged.
That is retarded.
Okay, that's fine, but why would you assume my life is privileged?
For one, you're a man.
You know, most people commit suicide are men. Most people who work in dangerous workplaces are men. Most people who fight in war are men.
And who set that system up?
Men.
I'm going to ask.
Okay, but what does that have to do with anything?
I actually do agree with the vaccine mandate. I think COVID was just a huge disaster, and I think it could have ended a lot sooner if things were more organized.
Definitely. As far as whether the government should intervene on people's bodies, I think there are a lot of instances where the government should. One, to protect the society in general, especially in cases such as a pandemic where the disease could literally wipe out cities. In other instances as well, such as
it's close, man. This topic is so close, bro.
That's addicted to
all I'm saying is I didn't get vaccinated. I'm a pureblood out here.
Opioids.
I'm the only one left.
Crack. It spreads like wildfire, and I've seen it firsthand. And it's very difficult to control without the help of
But
God.
I mean, if you took a
on top
vaccine,
of
I don't give a
abortion,
fuck.
that
It's
one's,
good for you, bro.
very
It's all
complex.
good.
And in general, I always want to favor a woman's right to choose. But I think there's also a very fundamental question that both of you brought up is at what point is a fetus a human or a person? Let's say a child is 8 months in the womb, and at that point, the baby has a heart, the baby has a brain, has legs, has arms. Do you think it's okay for that to be terminated?
Nobody is doing that. And nobody is having abortions with viable fetuses unless it is a medical emergency that will kill the baby and the mother.
My name is Ben.
Oh,
I'm
the
a
hard
business
one. That's a
consultant
very
for a
hard
telecom
one.
company, and I'm a liberal dad. When it comes to the abortion issue, I am not exactly sure where I stand. I am not pro-choice or pro-life.
My name is Dawn. I'm a regional sales manager
Wow.
for a dialysis company as well as
That's
a
respectable,
therapist,
actually.
and I'm a liberal parent. As far as
Thank
my
God it's not
views
just one
on
person who
abortion,
automatically has to claim everything on his side because like he just says he's that side. That's very refreshing.
LGBT to choose what's happening to their body.
Not being an LGBTQ plus ally makes someone a bad person.
What is an ally though? Why didn't they define ally right there?
It's strong,
It's
isn't it? It's a little strong.
general
Exactly.
way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Put it. I would question someone's empathy.
That's it.
And their awareness of the other people around them, because I guarantee you know someone that's
Absolutely,
LGBT.
and their environment.
Right. Discussing the validity of the existence of other human beings isn't a political issue. That's like
It's there. whether you
there's
like it
something
or not.
wrong with you
Yes.
if you like, no, trans people don't exist. Obviously they do. I would like to think that it's a safer world
Yes.
to be LGBTQ, but that
Yes.
would be naive.
Of course.
People are getting murdered for being trans, you know,
Yes. Yes.
and gay. It's scary. I have 3 kids. I have 3 boys.
Oh.
One of them is trans. I worry that, I mean, for however progressive a new generation seems, that, you know, I have to think about, will there be violence done? Which, I mean, every parent worries about violence. That's part of the gig of being a parent.
Yes.
And I've got an extra, I've got a new layer. My child is in a wonderfully privileged situation where they have a lot of support.
Okay, that helps.
But as they get older,
As you
their
get-
circle
as
gets
your circle
wider.
gets wider,
and
you-
my sphere of influence gets less effective as
Yes.
they get older, you
Yeah.
know? Hi, I'm Cindy. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I am a liberal parent. One of my children came out as trans 2 years ago. Mine and my husband's response was, that's great. Would you like to go by these pronouns? And would you like to pick out a name? Let's make sure that we talk to a gender specialist so we know what options there are, and we'll just take this one step at a time. We'll move forward with the best information possible.
Can the disagreeer step forward?
I really wish he said the age of the
I can
kid.
provide a unique perspective on this because I'm actually bisexual. So I think not being an ally, as long as you're not harming people, you're not harassing people, you're not posting on social media that these people suck, then I don't think you're a bad person for that.
As a Christian, I
Yeah.
don't think that
What?
being
Just
LGBTQ
be yourself, bro. It's all good.
aligns with God's view of the family. It doesn't mean that I will disrespect them in any way. I just think that it's a sin.
As far as your faith is concerned,
That's fine.
what would happen if
It's all
your
good.
child came out to you that they
Think
were
about whatever you
gay,
wanna think
bisexual,
about.
trans?
I think that if the
As long
sin
as
is
you don't
not
like just like
practiced
start
upon,
disrespecting people for no
it's not a
reason, it's all
problem.
good.
It can be dealt with, especially with transitioning. It usually comes from mental problems like depression, anxiety, and all those things.
So you think they can be kind of taught to not be gay?
No, I think
Pray the
it's,
gay away.
Do you support conversion therapy?
no, I don't think that we can convert anyone into doing anything. I would not ostracize my child, but I would not support it, just like I don't support any sin.
So I think that if you want to be transgender, you could be transgender. We live in again, I said, a free nation. But if you're asking for my opinion, I believe that men and women are completely different. We have different chromosomes, different bone structure. If you're a transgender woman, I still view you as a man. You could express yourself as a woman, that's fine. But I don't believe that society should automatically, say that, okay, you're a woman. Let's say, for instance, there's a 18-year-old biological man, but says that they are a woman now. They still have male genitalia. They could walk into a woman's locker room and show off their male genitalia. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's okay.
That's not happening.
It is happening, though.
Is it really happening?
That is literally transphobia.
It could happen, though.
It's rare, though, but...
And not even a trans. It could just be a creepy guy, pretending to be...
Yes, creepy guys are... I'm in much more danger in a women's restroom from a cis...
To me, there's only a problem when it comes to sports.
Guy
I know, but
than I am a trans
gives them the
person.
excuse, that's what I'm trying to say.
So do you support gender-neutral bathrooms, like women and men can go into the same bathroom? Do you think that could increase the chances of rape or assault?
They already exist. It's interesting that men are only concerned about this rape in the bathroom when we're having a conversation about trans folk.
But gender-neutral bathrooms just stem from this idea, though.
No, this idea that rape is going to suddenly go on the rise because of gender-neutral bathrooms stems from transphobia.
Fuck it.
I'm Eden, I'm 16 years old, and I'm on the conservative teen side. I think that transitioning does more harm than good, and I think that we are born in the body that we're given, and we should stay that way. God has created us in His image, and I don't think we should change the way we are.
Owning a gun is a basic human right.
Owning a what? A gun?
Is a basic human right.
Oh, shit.
I absolutely hate hearing about school shootings on the news and just shootings in general. It's horrible. This isn't like, Spider-Man's not going to save people.
Only America, yes?
to protect
What?
themselves.
There's so many
A lot
European
of
countries you can have
mass
guns.
shooters
What are you talking
target
about?
gun-free zones because they know there's not going to be a person
No?
who's going to fight against them or shoot them back. There's a lot of mass shootings at schools, and that's because schools have gun-free zones. I view owning a gun as a right to defend myself. You look at countries that have banned guns in the past, the USSR, Nazi Germany, you
maybe
look
only
at
like
China
Switzerland
under
or
Mao
something?
Zedong.
Can Switzerland, you have a gun?
Because
Because that's the only one I kind of know about, I'm not going to lie.
So they could oppress them. And I think the reason why our founding fathers enshrined the Second Amendment is because they wanted us to protect ourselves against tyrannical government and to protect ourselves against danger around us too.
I think that from a woman's perspective, if as a woman you get into a dangerous situation, for example, with a man, having a gun...
Wait. This is like a topic that is like simple, I feel like. Bro, like this, I said this on stream. At this point of time, bro, with how many guns there are in the U.S., probably over 500 million or whatever, however fucking many guns there is in the U.S. Bro, like we have to keep guns open, like to buy for like normal citizens to have, no? Because I feel like, bro, if someone has a plan in their head to go to a school and fucking kill everyone, bro, they will 100% somehow get a gun, like illegal or not. So it does, like, banning it doesn't matter. I feel like if they have a preset mind to kill everyone possible, they will get a gun no matter what. I feel like, well, out of like how many there already are. No.
I absolutely hate hearing about school shootings on the news and just shootings in general. It's horrible. This isn't like, Spider-Man's not going to save people. People have the right to protect themselves.
A lot of mass shooters
like,
target gun-free
if there
zones
were a
because they know
button, like anyone could press to just delete every gun, then yeah, that'd be ideal. But like, that's just not the case. So it's
there's
unlucky.
not going to be a person who's going to fight against them or shoot them back. There's a lot of mass shootings at schools, and that's because schools have gun-free zones. I view owning a gun as a right to defend myself. You look at countries that have banned guns in the past, the USSR, Nazi Germany, you look at China under Mao Zedong, they stripped their citizens of arms so they could oppress them. And I think the reason why our founding fathers enshrined the Second Amendment is because they wanted us to protect ourselves against tyrannical government and to protect ourselves against danger around us.
And also, I don't even know how this is a conversation, bro. If there was an attempt to ban guns in the United States, like perma-ban every gun, bro, that will just never happen. Like, I just know America. That just won't happen.
I think that...
There'll be a fucking war, like a war before that happens.
From a woman's perspective, if as a woman you get into a dangerous situation, for example, with a man...
But definitely making it like way harder to get guns should be a thing, for sure.
How to use a gun is the only way that will protect me. Having my tiny little pepper spray won't help me forever. I think definitely if you take away guns, the bad guys will always get their guns one way or another.
I live in Los Angeles, and LA has strict gun control laws. This is my perspective of it. I think LA has become a more dangerous city, and I feel very unsafe walking down the street, just not armed. Crime is on the rise in America, and I think
this kid's bringing a gun with him?
By owning a gun.
Bro's like
I definitely
16.
think that there should be this control in place to who buys guns. You couldn't just be able to go to a store and buy a gun. There should be regulations into who buys guns and who shoots a gun.
100%. What she said was right.
I actually debated whether or not I was going to sit down because I do believe people have the right to bear arms. I do.
Oh.
My issue is what kind of arms they're bearing. I believe people should get to go hunt, but do you need a semi-automatic rifle to do that? I'll tell you personally, I'm afraid of guns personally myself, but I just think there need to be stricter regulations with it.
I agree with that.
The majority of people who die by gunshot are women in a domestic violence situation. So mass shootings definitely don't want automatic rifles. Against that, nobody needs them, but the most dangerous gun is the one in your home.
I do want to ask you a question. Do you think that women should have the right to bear arms to protect
Wait,
themselves
Yes.
against?
Yeah,
I have a gun. I feel way safer now knowing I have a gun.
Against the right to own guns. The prompt was, do you think owning a gun is a human right?
But do you think?
And I don't agree with that.
In my perspective, I grew up in a gun-riddled neighborhood. I myself am a gun owner now because of the fact that I create some type of means of self-defense.
Yeah, that's why I have a gun. Just in case, like a home defense type of gun.
Now because
why didn't he walk up?
Fact that I had to create some type of means of self-defense.
So why did you disagree?
I disagree because I would prefer not to be. I think it's not a human right as much as almost a necessity for a lot of people. And not everyone. There's a lot
I actually agree with that. Like that button thing I said. If there was a button I could press to delete every gun, I just would probably click it.
Neighborhoods that are very safe, but
I just feel like I have to have a gun now. Does that make any sense?
In a safe neighborhood, you can be robbed, you can be killed. I've been stuck up several times with a gun to my face, and all I could think of is, man, if I die, it's gonna be because I didn't have a weapon to help protect me.
Do you think that we should take away all guns from the entire world?
Yes, if there was like a magnet.
Wait, what? Wait, no, is this pre-watched? What the fuck is this? Wait, what's going on? Is this pre-watched?
I die, it's gonna be because I didn't have a weapon to help protect me.
Do you think that we should take away all guns from the entire world?
Yes, if there was like a magnet, like Magneto from X-Men, and he just suck up all the guns, I think that would be such a better place.
I agree with that. Only if we lived in heaven though. Where government wasn't a thing and just everyone was a normal person and not trying to just kill people for no reason and take advantage of people. Then yeah, but yeah.
Opinions
That's
have
just not
hurt my relationships with friends and family.
During 2020, when America got really politically intense, and my teacher, she was very politically active, and she wanted us to speak our voices, and they found out I was conservative, and they said, okay, you're completely going against what we believe. The whole school is very liberal, and I guess they just kind of pushed me away.
Did you feel like you would get bullied?
No, I'll just get looks. Some people come up and say, you're a racist or you're xenophobic. They would tell me, oh, do you support Trump? But I just brushed it off. I told them, hey, I respect that you think like this. Please respect me.
I think that is, whether or not we have the same ideas, I think that is still an admirable quality.
Yeah.
Despite getting looks or feeling like maybe you don't belong, that you're still, you have your convictions.
Yeah.
So I can respect that you're convicted.
I think being liberal, we think of the right as being stuck in the sand. It's interesting to hear that liberals were not having his right opinion. I think that everyone should have their opinion.
Well, I think we're talking about issues that aren't a matter of opinion, but a matter of your morality, the value of human lives. I've had to personally block a few people on Facebook, family members.
Oh, wow.
Mostly men that are married to the women in my family. Like, hey, this conversation is really getting personal and hurtful, and if you carry on this way, I'm gonna have to block you.
Were they harassing you?
I feel very harassed, yeah, and belittled
Were you ostracized, or was there someone that you...
I think on my end, it was myself. I understand people have different beliefs, and I respect that. And I think it's good for everyone to share their beliefs. That's the way we progress.
Okay.
But I think
agree.
when people become ignorant or offensive consistently without any type of evidence or any type of backup behind that,
I agree
that's
too.
the point where I say, you know what, I probably shouldn't be friends with you because you may smile in my face, but behind my back, you have a different sentiment.
Yeah, this guy
I
is
haven't
like
lost any
decently smart.
relationships
I like this guy.
because me and my friends don't really dive into politics. We kind of just play video games and talk about
That guy doesn't
politics
even
together.
seem like it. He just seems like he's in the middle. Just from what I've
if you
been
lose a
listening to.
relationship over politics, that's kind of sad.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, I agree.
it's,
That is
hard
very
growing
sad.
up.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully you won't lose any friends, but usually as you get older, you start to see those divides a little clearer.
I mean, you guys are older than us. Was it like this going back 20 years ago?
Politics has changed so much, and I think you touched on it, that now it's being associated, policy is being associated with ethics. I haven't lost any friendships or relationships because I won't allow that to happen. I believe that the majority of us, probably about 80%, are in the middle with varying degrees. And there are those people who are very, very conservative, very, very ultra-liberal, who are the outliers.
I think it's subtle. You have somebody that you meet with on a regular basis.
Actually,
you
I don't
talk
know
with
if I
them, you have
agree
a
with
good
that
time.
anymore.
If topics get brought up, and it's a oh, okay, you're one of those. They don't tell you that to your face, but it's kind of subtle.
And also, I think with the prevalence of social media, people's opinions are a lot more out there.
I never understood why anyone posted political opinions on social media. I think it's just annoying.
Well, I have.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
know more about politics
cares,
than
bro?
I did when I was voting.
Jesus, just worry about yourself.
I think it's very encouraging because they're going to be more informed when they are of voting age.
I mean, yeah, it makes life more divisive. I mean, there's more arguments and stuff, and more relationships ending because politics is such a big part of life.
Hi, my name is Scott. I am a liberal parent. I have many children. I have 4. My oldest daughter is extremely left-wing. My 2 middle daughters are roughly right in the middle there. And then Chase is conservative.
My name is Chase. I'm 19.
Oh, that's his kid? That's fire.
On the
What
conservative
the
teen
fuck?
side. My dad's Scott. We talk about politics, mostly
That is
gun
fire.
rights and the government in the economy.
What
we
the
disagree, but
fuck?
we like hearing each other's side.
The feminist movement is overrated.
That's fire.
Oh, yes.
The feminist movement is overrated? What the fuck is that? What is this statement? Is overrated. What is this word overrated they're using?
The reason I sat down is because feminism as we know it in social media.
But I understand the general concept of the meaning. But yes, 100% it is.
And the market
Bro, everyone's equal, bro. Is there any fucking law that is like restricting women and stuff nowadays? Bro, everyone's pretty equal, bro. Like, we're good.
run by white women, and we don't have a lot of intersectionality. Margaret Sanger.
Margaret Sanger,
Yeah,
yes.
and
Like, we're all good, bro.
Susan B. Anthony, total racist.
Everyone
The
got
women
equal
that
opportunity. Everyone,
headed
we're
up
good
the,
in America.
suffragette movement, they were not inclusive.
Of course, yes.
And they wanted rights for white women.
That's true.
And that thread has followed us to be very exclusionary to black women, disabled women, women of color, indigenous women.
I don't think that feminism in America is based off racism. The reason why there's more white feminists is because
Wait.
there's a higher white population in America. So generally, there's going to be more white feminists because of that.
I think that definitely in the beginning of feminism, feminists wanted votes for women, that women
Okay.
would be allowed to work, would be allowed to go to universities and such.
Yep.
I definitely agree with that, but I think that feminism has gone too far into saying my body, my choice, and saying that women are
like,
not all equal,
that's
saying that women are being
50-50.
suppressed by white men and such things.
Damn. I respect how she's not playing as a victim.
No,
is good.
we got a long way to go. There's just not enough done.
In America or just in the world in general?
Well, America, for sure. The world in general is a heck of a lot worse than America.
Okay. Thank God he said
I
that.
think that-
Okay.
For sure.
Whew,
There's
I was
just
getting
not
scared
enough
right
done.
there.
In America or just in the world in general?
Well, America, for sure. The world in general is a heck of a lot worse.
I thought he was about to say it was worse in America than other parts of the
women
world.
should be able to do everything that men can, but we also have to protect ourselves. So if you want to be a
But
stay-at-home mom,
can they not?
men can't.
I feel like, wait, can they not though? I'm not
I
understanding.
think that women should be able to do everything that men can, but we also have to protect ourselves.
Wait,
so
what?
if you want to
It's-
be a stay-at-home mom and do one of the hardest jobs on the planet, you absolutely should be able to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
But you should also discuss with your partner and put in things into place so that you're protected if you choose to do that. Some women aren't doing that, like life insurance and things like that. I think part of feminism is being able to take care of yourself.
Capitalism.
So
is
did she
failing
agree
our
or not? That sounded like she agreed, but she just didn't agree. How did I not get that?
society.
This system.
Capitalism
failing our
is
society.
failing our society. What?
This system that just values production, consumerism until you die.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for anybody but a very, very, very small percentage of billionaires. And it's all
And
it's
the
all
people
baloney.
consuming,
The
'cause they're
system
getting
is
what they want,
rigged
no?
to keep workers working.
It's fine.
And the rich just keep getting richer.
Yeah, I think there could be some good in capitalism, which is like the innovation part of it. But in general, capitalism definitely sucks from the poor. There's a lot of industries that definitely shouldn't have any capitalism involved at all. The
Maybe that's
medical
true.
field, it's unjust that certain people get better care than other people just because they're more financially
I agree
well
with
off.
that,
Who are
probably.
they to determine the value of life? The healthcare system creates such profit, and that profit is created off the misery of others, of the illness of others, including the prison system.
I
where you
agree
have
with that,
jails that are
probably.
privately owned, because at that point, what you have is a hotel, and you want to fill up the hotel. Why would there be a business that profits off of crime? That doesn't make any sense. If you put profit ahead
that
of
makes sense.
people are going to suffer, obviously.
This guy's very smart. This guy's very smart.
So you said like only the billionaires succeed.
He's not talking about like businesses and shit. He's talking about like, yeah,
in
that guy's
capitalism,
smart.
And I gotta disagree with that.
That guy's very
because
smart.
I'm the CEO of my own company. A couple months ago, I started a jewelry company, and I'm not a billionaire, but it's been relatively successful enough to I can like make rent and go through college a bit. So I think there's people like me who own a small business who capitalism really benefits.
If capitalism isn't the solution, then what is the solution?
Do you want to hear it?
Socialism?
Socialism.
So the problem
What
with
is
democratic
that?
social, I mean, you talk about how
What is
capitalism
that? I don't
hurts
know
the
anything
middle
about
class,
politics, but
in
I've
reality,
always heard that word like 500,000 times. What does that mean?
So I think there's people like me who own a small business who capitalism really benefits.
If capitalism isn't
Communism?
the solution,
Yeah,
then what
that's
is the
just
solution?
retarded.
Do you want to hear it?
Socialism?
Socialism.
So the problem with democratic socialism, I mean, you talk about how capitalism hurts the middle class, but in reality, if democratic socialism was tried, the middle class are going to be paying way more taxes, not just the rich. You see, the rich don't pay taxes because they don't work. They make money off assets. The middle class, they work. And because they're working, they're going to pay more taxes under a proposal like Bernie Sanders or, I don't know, AOC or Ilhan Omar.
I personally am okay with paying higher taxes. I would love people who make billions of dollars to pay their fair share of taxes. But increased taxes for a better situation for people overall, that is exactly what I stand for.
I'm not sure that.
I feel like what she just said.
Socialism is.
What?
The answer. Yugoslavia before World War II did okay, but they didn't do all that great, and they were.
Did she just explain socialism? I don't think so, right? She just wants to tax the rich more because there's too many loopholes for the rich to escape tax. Like, I agree with that. I think like billionaires should actually be like 100% taxed for like what they like their net worth or whatever. Like, you know, like if they make this much profit, they should just get taxed that. Like no like crazy ass tax loopholes. Bro, you already have like fucking $5 billion, bro. It's okay to pay like $1 billion in tax. Like it's fine.
Taken over quite quickly. What I'm thinking is capitalism, although is not the best.
But I don't think that's
solution,
that's just like a law thing. They need to change like the tax law or something.
is one of
Like the loopholes.
the best solutions for a democratic society.
Think about socialism, you think about wealth distribution. And then money becomes a very big role too, because the ones that have less money become envious of those that have more money. And then money is like it becomes a god because you don't want anyone else to have that money but yourself. And if you, for example, look at the Scandinavian countries, they have a capitalistic
Is she European?
market but yourself.
She almost has an accent. You know? Or am I like tripping?
It becomes a god because you don't want anyone else to have that money but yourself. And if you, for example, look at the Scandinavian countries, they have a capitalistic market, but they have a socialist wealth distribution. And that's why it works over there. And I personally come from Europe, so I have seen that.
So you think that works?
There you go.
I personally don't think that works. I think it takes a lot of money from the rich and from the middle class.
My name is Nathan. I'm 18 years old. I would like to ask the other side if they believe America is the greatest country in the world.
I swear I did not pre-watch.
If they disagree with that, I want to know what country they believe is better than America. I do believe it's a blessing and it's a privilege to live in a country that gives you the liberty and freedom and to express who you want to be.
100%.
The American dream is dead.
Definitely not. What?
I gotta say, I disagree with the phrase "American dream."
Why?
American dream for who? You know.
What do you mean for who?
Native Americans we slaughtered, the enslaved people. I mean, this romantic idea that there's this dream is just basically marketing for capitalism. You know, it's very well funded propaganda, and has it inspired good acts and good people to do good things? Of course, because ultimately, in a large sense, humanity is good. But this idea of the American dream, I think, is I think the fantasy of it is being torn apart a little bit, and I think that's actually exciting because it opens up room for something better, something more inclusive to grow.
I think the phrase is kind of corny, but the idea that someone's like building themselves up in capitalism, I feel like that I kind of have done that a bit with my business. So I don't think it's dead.
I do think the American dream is dying, though. You know, the American dream now is not the same as it was 30 years ago. Have a family, buy a home, have a great job. But now it's very difficult to buy a home. Income has not increased compared to the price of a house.
Yeah.
You know, I do think it's dying, though, but I don't think it's completely dead because there's a lot of immigrants who are still trying to come to America. America does have the highest immigrant population. 14% of our population are immigrants. We have a lot of people on our southern border, and I think they all want to come to America.
Yeah, I think the American dream still exists, and I can speak firsthand because my family came from a third world country.
Damn.
But so does the American nightmare. The people suffering not just here, but also around the world due to policies, due to exploitation, due to colonization, due to a lot of issues that are directly at hand to America. So there's a lot of blood on the United States' hand, and a lot of people don't want to leave their home country, but the situations that have been created there are forcing people to leave. Like my mother would have loved to stay in Mexico, but unfortunately due to poverty, which had a lot to do with NAFTA and what happened in 1994, directly caused by the United States, issues that created this migration. So is it a better opportunity here? Yes, my people come here and we send our money back to our ancestors. Would we just like to stay where we're from? Yeah, that would be a much better option.
As an immigrant myself, I definitely think that the American dream still exists. We long for the opportunities that people have here in America, for the job opportunities that people have, the innovations that are available in this free market economy, this capitalist country.
So the American dream is in the eye of the beholder. If you're an immigrant or if you live here, it's different. It's going to be different.
I don't like the idea of the American dream, but I am a person who's still going to always believe in hope. If you work hard and you take advantage of opportunities, you can make a difference in your life.
100%.
I mean, you're an example of it. I'm so amazed by you. I think it's awesome what you're doing at such a young age. I am very, very impressed with you three. My hope for you is that you stay open-minded and that you're always willing to be learners and not just listeners.
Yeah.
So.
All right, great.
Wow. Wait. I'm not saying anything, but could you tell the difference in like demeanor and stuff between these kids and the other kids? There's a very large difference. So that's all I'll say. said middle ground burgers or pizza. Ivy League versus community college, which education is better? Surely the Ivy League school, no? Is that a question? Okay, I'm curious
Sometimes
about
I
this
just wanna
actually.
sit.
I'm curious. I'm just like so curious as generations like thought.
Sometimes I just want to sit and be a teen, but I can't do that because I'm constantly thinking,
Okay. Okay.
I am addicted to social media. 3,
Surely everyone says yes.
1.
Disagreeing is coping.
I use social
Actually-
media, but I don't think I'm addicted. I could take it or leave it. I can put my phone down whenever I want.
That's a good skill. I cannot do that.
Actually, it depends. No, I feel like fuck. I don't know if this video is good because these group of students already just looked like just dumb, like no good thoughts. But like I feel it. See, it's like hard. Like this question's hard for like these types of because this guy is 100% just playing video games all day. This guy's playing 100% video games all day. Does that count as social media? Probably not to most people. So then they can disagree. So it's like, yeah.
I'm on my phone all the time, like all
But
the
it's like basically social media, I guess.
time.
Because you're like online talking to people, like fucking playing video games.
I need to check Instagram. I need to check who's texting me. I need to see like
Yeah, like the girls' form of social media is like the
My phone all
guys gaming, you know?
time, like all the time.
Is it not
I
like
need to check Instagram.
true?
I need to check who's texting me. I need to see like what's happening. It's hard. It distracts me a lot from school.
So I use social media for a total of, I think, 2 weeks. After like severe disappointment and saying that social media could bring out the worst in people, I decided that I'm not gonna use social media.
That's genius.
If I really need to speak to someone, I could just text them or call them or talk in person.
yeah, I was only recently allowed to get 3 months ago when I turned 18, because I wasn't allowed to have it up until then. Like I have to make up for all the time that I missed and everything that happened and all the parties that I didn't go to because I didn't see the Instagram. I'm not like on it all the time, but I'm definitely on my phone way too much. I think my screen time's like 6 hours or something crazy. I know. It's bad.
I like the way I look. 3, 2, 1.
Damn. I did not expect these answers.
I think there's always going to be things that like I'll nitpick at, but overall I'm pretty happy with the way that I look, and I know that the things that I can control, I'll change them, and the things that I can't control, it would be a shame for me to spend my life not enjoying my physical appearance.
I respect myself, definitely, but I feel like I'll never be enough. I don't know if that's part of me struggling with my mental health, but I'm just not happy with the way I look, but I'm still proud of who I am.
I feel too much stress for my age. 3, 2, 1.
There's no way that I should be this stressed. Like I feel like
Wait
there's
till
so
you
much
grow up,
pressure put
little
on
kids.
teens of what is the future. That I'm constantly like chastising myself for things that I did in the past or over analyzing everything that I'm gonna do in the future, and I literally don't know how to live in like the now. Sometimes I just wanna sit and be a teen, but I can't do that because I'm constantly thinking about how my life is gonna look like at 25 and the decisions that I make now.
I like the stress. I'm always thinking about the future and what I want to do. So if I want to do those things in the future, I have to accomplish a lot here. Even though I kind of wish I didn't have it because I want to do fun things instead of work constantly.
For me, my stress has affected my mental and physical health, which at 14
Bro.
isn't something that should be happening. You know, I shouldn't have restless
Shut the
nights.
fuck up about the breathing, bro. I literally have to cover my nose because you guys always fucking cry about it.
Make me scared to go to school. 3, 2, 1.
Honestly, it didn't for me. But I don't think there was that many school shootings back in the day. But like, I lived in a place where like,
Due to recent events, it has crossed my mind. It is a reality for us as students, especially going to a public school.
has anyone here ever felt
I'm
unsafe
not
at
gonna
school?
worry about it
Like never have
24/7,
I
'cause then I'm
like
not
ever
living.
felt unsafe at school.
I'm not that scared about it because my school is really small and I don't know the motivation for someone.
All right, let's watch a different video. What should we watch? Ashley Robin? That's crazy. Fuck, should I watch this one?
Telling a woman she should do something is actually anti-feminist. We're told all the time.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck. Let's do... What should we do? Bro! Stop saying fit versus fat. We already fucking did that, bro. We already watched that like a month ago or some shit. Like 2 months ago we watched that. This is gonna spark a legit argument in my fucking chat.
If we just take God out of it, might there not be something, right, that your scientific beliefs can't explain?
I believe in God personally.
My name is Matt. I'm 41 years old. I'm a pastor.
I'm Gil Kay. I'm 40 years old. I am a minister of the Buddhist church.
I'm Andrew. I'm 42 and I'm a chemist.
I'm Jess.
What?
I'm 36 and I'm a volcanologist.
What?
I'm Don. I'm 64. I'm a paleontologist and geologist.
I'm Amy.
They just got
I'm
useless
53,
science people here.
And I'm a rabbi.
I believe this universe was created.
Believe it was created. How else would it be here?
This is literally my greatest fear, that I'd be all alone in this circle. I believe that this world was created. I've placed my faith in
Are we not,
a
like,
God
here?
that is infinitely creative in what he's made. He then deserves my worship and my affection. Seriously, last night I was talking to my wife. I was like, what if there's a question that I'm the only one that agrees to? She's like, just stay where you are. I was like, I don't know.
The big problem is that immediately you start talking about creator, and I have battled creationism most of my entire career as an evolutionary biologist and paleontologist. It
What?
brings in a whole category of things that violate my rules as a scientist as well. And when I step back from that, especially when I step back from where I started as a religious person when I was younger, I look at this and I say, you know, if anything, what we see now about the universe shows how poorly designed it is and how sloppy it is and how painful it is. And all these things which don't speak to a very benevolent creator, because if anything, it makes him look bad.
I don't believe in a supernatural God.
What?
I'm a Reconstructionist Jew. For me,
That
I
is the
rely
dumbest
on
thing
a
I have ever
supernatural
fucking heard in my
creator
life.
in order to remain
Like,
astounded
genuinely.
at the beauty of this world. It's sloppy. It's the world, right? It's the world. We're sloppy. The world is sloppy, but it's also incredibly magical and
Yeah.
and
100%.
worthy of awe and
Yeah.
and respect.
100%.
That it's here is amazing. That we're here is amazing, and I want to live in relationship to that amazement.
I agree with that.
Can answer moral questions.
What did it say?
Science can answer moral questions.
What does moral mean in that context?
I never look to science to go like, is murder right or wrong? I look to science to say how many murders were committed last week. You know, that's what I want
just
to
the
know. And
normal
then say, is there a
moral?
trend? What is the cause
Wait,
of
what does
these
that
murders?
question even mean? I don't even know what that question means. I can't lie. What does that question even mean? Science can answer moral questions.
Moral questions.
Like, the question's asking, can science answer why someone murdered someone? Is that the question?
I look to science to go like, is murder right or wrong? I look to science to say how many murders were committed last week. You know, that's what I want to know. And then say, is there a trend?
I don't know. What kind of question is that? Who cares?
And then we use, we use different tools, I guess is the best way of putting it, to assess whether or not we should be murdering people.
Where do those morals come from then?
I think they're innate in humans. All societies have had certain things they agree on, regardless of religious background and so on. We don't require a deity or any kind of religion to give us those things. And we come with them as part of our species. And for
Okay,
me,
I agree with
it's not so
that.
much that science can answer moral questions, but science certainly can guide us in a lot of ways, especially when moral questions in conflict with realities we've now learned it.
Actually, do I agree with that? Like, because we don't know, no? Because, like, do we know that, like, cavemen back then, did they just spawn in knowing it was bad to kill other humans? Or do you think, like, cavemen killed each other? You know? Just, like, for no reason. Like, do we know? We don't know. So, like,
I've got serious gaps in my faith that require a supernatural answer. I mean, I can't understand.
What was the question?
There are things that my beliefs cannot explain.
Obviously. If you believe in God, that's just an obvious yes, no?
I've got serious gaps in my faith that require a supernatural
It's just
answer.
like a feeling, bro.
I mean, I can't.
Like, you can't really, like,
understand and fathom the
I
complexities
can't explain
of
it.
the universe all on my own. I'm a Christian. At a church service, someone had a hurt shoulder, and they said, my shoulder really hurts, so you pray for my shoulder to get better. I'll be honest with you, I have about 5% faith that that's going to work out. But I prayed for him, I put my hand on his shoulder, and I said, you know, I want this shoulder to get healed.
It doesn't work
in
like
Jesus'
that.
name.
It
And
doesn't
I
work
walked
like
away
that.
thinking, oh no, another disappointed person who didn't get healed today. Well, the next morning that person called me and said, you wouldn't believe it, my shoulder feels 100% better. I still don't have a good answer to that, but I just know every time I get an answer or an opportunity to exercise my faith in a supernatural way, I want to take that opportunity because I just don't know what the answer might be. It could be something terrific.
I totally agree with you. I liked you when you said 5%. I pretty much feel the same way. Yeah. But in my hometown in Japan, like we have this kind of service to sort of console the spirits in the land. Like when we chant for like an hour, half an hour maybe, then everybody feels, oh, it feels so peaceful. But then I can't quite explain it like logically, and that's sufficient in that situation.
Science is all about understanding
Shut
what you can't
up.
understand. And in science, you're pretty much not allowed to even consider the supernatural because it's beyond testable hypothesis. It's beyond anything that you can evaluate in any, what we might call an objective manner. We are comfortable with the idea that we do not know something. And we say we do not know something and that someday we might find the answer or we may not.
There's a lot out there that we can't explain, but it has absolutely nothing to do with my beliefs. I was raised Catholic, and I'm just as confused now as I was then about what's really going on. You know, there is this small amount of stuff we can explain. I don't need to have a belief about it. I don't even need to go beyond that and just to decide that it's magnificent and terrifying all at the same time, and
Yeah,
just kind of
I
leave it
agree
at
with
that.
So I think your answer to the question would have been yes. I mean, because I think you might agree that there's stuff that you can't even know to test
100%.
yet. So how? Maybe
No
there's
one will
something
ever
beyond
know
scientific theory and proof
anything.
that we don't even know yet. And I'm
Ever.
not saying God.
Okay.
If we just take God out of
Even
it,
if humans lasted for
might there
20
not be
million more
something,
years,
right,
we
that
wouldn't even
your
be able
scientific
to
beliefs can't
understand
explain?
0.0 to the
But
infinite
also, in my
1%
philosophy,
of
I
the
don't see any
universe.
point in putting any kind
This
of
is
supernatural label on
impossible.
it as an explanation. It's
He's
just
like
not solving
100%.
the problem.
I believe in life after death.
You're tripping? No. You don't understand anything, bro. Your mind can't even comprehend it.
Well, I'm
And
so
mine
glad
can't
you're
either,
with me,
bro.
'cause
What?
I didn't want to be here all by myself.
In life after death.
I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe.
Well, I'm so glad you're with me because I didn't want to be here all by myself. Yeah, I mean, I just see purpose for our lives that extends beyond the here and now, that there is an eternity that God wants to have with us. His love for us is so deep that it desires to have a continued relationship with us as far as time goes on.
Because I live in Long Beach, I go down to the beach and I see the waves in the ocean. At the beach, they come ashore and they leave. We compare that to life. We take different shapes and different forms, and the length of the wave we have no idea. You show up in different locations which you have no control. The idea that this momentarily shape that we have, this life, and trying to preserve it, and then we're kind of missing the whole point that we are actually that greater ocean.
In my limited capacity as a individual human, like in this form, in this shape, I have no idea. How can I possibly have any idea about what that being ocean is gonna mean or be? And so I know that I will continue to be part of the universe, but not as me, not as this.
I would agree with that. I mean, I see no evidence from anything that I can observe or anything that goes on that is.
Bro,
more than
but
just
like
wishful
have a
thinking
little
that humans in
faith,
some
bro.
Form or,
Like I feel like it's
existence
okay
of
to like
actual
just
life, but they
have faith, man. Like it's not like it. I respect him for thinking this way, but like, bro, not everything has to just be so evidence based. And no,
recognizable and their identities carry on.
When I was a kid, I asked my dad if our
I never said it wasn't. Agun, did I ever say it wasn't?
pets would be waiting for us in heaven when we died, and my dad said no.
I said the opposite.
And I was shocked.
I said I
and
respect
was
him for thinking like
"Why
that, I
would there
guess,
not
but
be
like just
pets
try
in
to have a little
heaven?"
faith,
And
man.
my dad's like, well, there are animals. And I'm like, why not my animals? And he's like, well, they're just like a generic cat and a generic dog. And I went, wait, what? And so at that point, that's when I started to question, like, wait a minute, what happens next? And yeah, I'm kind of, with a lot of you guys here, just saying that, look, wouldn't it be great if we could go on and on and on? But I think because we don't see any evidence for it, I have to be in the camp of, well, we get this one shot, make the most of it, do the best you can, and then when it's done, don't have any regrets. Live with doing as much as you could that is good.
I mean, isn't
so that
it
you
a
will
partial
live on.
waste of time to have faith? Bro, you don't know that. Faith has changed a lot of people's lives for the better.
In the memory
Sometimes the worse, but
of those
mostly
who,
the better.
Stay behind.
I'm so sorry your dad told you your dog's not going.
I mean, you can just tell. How is this a waste? Look at this guy. Look at this guy's demeanor. This Asian guy's demeanor. You can
I
just
live in
tell.
Long Beach. I go down to the beach and I see the
How different would this guy be if he didn't have faith? You know what I mean?
waves in the ocean at the beach.
And yeah, I'm kind of, with a lot of you guys here, just saying that, look, wouldn't it be great if we could go on and on and on? But I think because we don't see any evidence for it, I have to be in the camp of, well, we get this one shot, make the most of it, do the best you can, and then when it's done, don't have any regrets. Live with doing as much as you could that is good, so that you will live on in the memories of those who stay behind.
I'm so sorry your dad told you your dog's not going to heaven. What a crushing thing to hear as a child. All good dogs go to heaven. I mean,
It's what the movie said.
It must be true.
I think he was trying to let me down gently, but
I
I don't know.
yeah.
Like some days, I'm like totally zen. I'm totally there. Like it's okay. It's all.
What? She literally pointed to him.
Non-exist. I'm usually not as afraid of death as I am
I'm
of
done.
dying. Like I'm afraid of dying because I've seen some really bad dying, I'm very afraid of pain and of you know, the process of dying. But
I lost both my parents from cancer, so I witnessed both process. My mom died over 30 years ago, and it was painful to witness that my mom kind of health deteriorate. My dad went through the same process, but then he was once writing letters as just really coincides with Buddhist teachings that I'm having a wonderful day, and I'm really grateful for everybody who support us. We have a saying that every day is, as you say, the greatest day. I can see that, you know, intellectually, I can understand it intellectually, but I just wasn't sure if I could feel if I would be able to say something like that if I'm put in that situation.
Damn.
It's important to question one's own beliefs.
Yeah, sure.
Changing up the city.
Man, I'm such a skeptic, and that includes questioning my own beliefs, especially if I form a hypothesis and I'm working on an experiment. I mean, you always kind of want it to go a certain way, and you have to do your best to remove that bias. And then a lot of times, if you're in research, it just doesn't work.
One of the things I tell students, because I work with students a lot with my nonprofit organization, and I tell them, you know,
Seems like a fucking secret
into
agent.
becoming scientists,
Who is
they
this
come from all
person?
sorts of different backgrounds, and I just say, look, don't ever work with anyone who's afraid to admit that they don't know something or that they're wrong. Like, those are really important qualities, whether it's in science or any aspect of life. The whole fun in being a scientist is trying to break things. And I actually wanted to start a journal of scientific mistakes so that we could share with each other what went wrong. Because too often we only talk about the successes. And I think it's very valuable to also know what failure is and what it teaches us.
And the questioning is such a healthy thing. I always think it's a healthy thing. So whenever I see younger monastics or priests, like, yeah, go ahead and question me or question what you do, and then be okay. And you need to understand intellectually, but at the same time, I want you to understand there are things that's beyond this intellectual understanding. So that's
very true.
Unrecognizable part of understanding that comes only through experience.
Wow.
Good job. Nice meeting you.
Wow.
Very interesting stuff.
That Asian guy is very inspirational.
Nice to meet you. So good to meet you too.
Fuck that old guy.
As there is a lot of infighting on the
We got destiny on this,
that
bro.
makes us look very bad. One thing about liberals, you guys really do stick together.
Shameless.
You actually get work done, even when I don't agree with it.
From my perspective as a liberal, I
What
sometimes
the
see y'all
fuck?
sticking really hard
Yeah,
together.
same.
Nothing wrong with that, of course.
No matter what, we're gonna vote red.
The far left and the far right are equally problematic. 3, 2, 1.
No, that's close. I think I would be on the like slightly agree side.
Sides. I'm a gay conservative, and I have seen the far right chastise me for my sexuality, and I've seen the far left chastise me for being conservative. I've had my own address put on the freeway here in Los Angeles.
What did this guy say? Is
because
this guy
they
conservative or
feel
not?
That my voice should not be out there. So I see the two sides actively doing harm to those of us in the middle who have a really rational voice and want to express ourselves in a safe way.
I appreciate the anecdotal experience that you had, but I think my issue saying that liberals are more problematic, I think everyone is.
What I talk about in my anecdotal incident is where I have never had a conservative physically attack me on the streets for what I am or who I am. They may verbally attack me. I've got that from the left too, but the left has physical attacks on my physical being out on the streets because I'm expressing myself.
So I mean,
multiple.
The opposite for myself. So experiences, as I said, anecdotal.
Right.
Your experience, completely valid, but to say, oh, liberals are worse.
Right. Well, it's not that there's no one worse, which is why I didn't move to strongly agree. My anecdotal experience tells me that there is a group of people on both sides that will do active harm to someone who steps out of their expected narrative.
I feel like when we talk about political extremes, I think one, there is a lack of desire for bipartisanship. The second thing is this kind of like playful attachment to facts. People on the far left and the far right, whether we're talking about Israel-Palestine or vaccines, people seem to have like very fun activities in terms of just completely making stuff up regarding these two things. And then the third thing is the demonization of political opponents, where people on the far left and the far right engage in this idea that the people on the opposite side of the aisle, they're not just different or have different ideas, they actually hate the country, they want to destroy us.
You know, people get labeled as extremists just for being even pretty centrist. Based on our small conversation we've already had here, I don't think anyone here is extreme.
No.
But going down the street, you might get labeled, crazy leftist or racist or.
I had to take my shirt off, for real.
It's interesting because when answering this prompt, I sort of hesitated. I've been on both sides
Said
of the
not
spectrum. I used
any
to be what
one
I
of
would
us here is
characterize as a
extreme.
radical leftist.
Do we
Now I'm
not see
sort
the
of right of
fucking
center, and
that dude with the pink
I feel
hair?
Like I get characterized as a far right extremist quite a bit. So I was thinking, what does far right even mean? Because so many people who I deem to be reasonable are characterized as
extreme,
far
you
right,
know?
and I'm sure people on the left feel that very same way. I've gone and
Well, they're like whatever they are. They them.
spoken to different
I don't
campuses,
think they like said
both
before, no.
as
So
a
like,
leftist and as a right of center individual, and I've never received more hatred or people trying
nothing
to
wrong
cancel
with
my
that,
events
but that is
than
extreme.
coming to those campuses as a conservative speaker.
Well, do you think that's because some of that rhetoric causes a lot of harm on the right side? Like a lot of like the things that are being said maybe in those talks like can have like lasting impacts on those students when you're on those campuses. So like, you know, and in the other way, like the conservative students might not like care as much about, you know, like, oh, like progress is being talked about. Like, you know, like I think like there's
perfect example is Dylan Mulvaney just spoke at the University of Penn. They are free to go and have a talk. Conservatives didn't come out and try to cancel that event. They didn't threaten staff. They didn't blockade the entrances. They let that event go on. Amala goes to speak, and there's rallies. They're pulling fire alarms. They're attacking the attendees. There is extremism.
I'm sure that there is, but I don't think Dylan Mulvaney is the right person to use for your example because of how much...
She's a leftist?
She's a leftist, but she's also had her life threatened on multiple occasions.
Right.
She's had to move around a lot because her address continuously is doxxed, and she wasn't even speaking at any sort of event. She was given a free Bud Light can, and her life was threatened.
I think something that's really important to keep in mind, given the entirety of the show, actually,
wait, but
is
does that
when we talk
matter?
about, like, canceling or
Everyone's
attacking
life is
people,
threatened.
The reality is,
I'm sure half this
power
chat
to
has
do it,
had death
you
threats
will
in a
do it.
fucking
And
video
on
game or
college
something.
campuses, the prevailing
No?
thought right now is generally progressivism. So if they can cancel or if they can bully conservative speakers off campus, they'll do that. But then right now, because conservatives don't have power on college campuses or in some forms of media, they'll say, well, the left is pro-cancel culture. No offense to conservatives. You don't get credit for saying, well, we didn't try to cancel somebody on college campus. Yeah, that's because there's like 10 of you. You couldn't do it even if you wanted to. Right? Like, obviously you're not doing it, right?
I think there's way more conservative students than I think people actually give credit to, but maybe they feel like they need to, harbor those beliefs internally rather than, espouse them out loud. And I will say, any conservative who wants to shut down an event or a speech, I would wholly disagree with.
Damn.
There should not be limitations on free speech. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I hate this prompt. Because we all agree that like direct calls to violence are not acceptable, I imagine.
Right.
We all agree like you can't scream fire in a theater. Otherwise, I think that like there should be Nazis on college campuses like doing their ideology. You should be allowed to say basically whatever rhetoric you want as long as it's not like violating the terms of service of a platform. I do agree that vaccine misinformation is harmful.
Wow.
I do agree that misinformation...
I'm surprised. Wait, I'm actually surprised he has that take.
...are not acceptable. We all agree like you can't scream fire in a theater. Otherwise, I think that like there should be Nazis on college campuses like doing their ideology. You should be allowed to say basically whatever rhetoric you want as long as it's not like violating the terms of service of a platform. I do agree that vaccine misinformation is harmful. I do agree that misinformation relating to conspiracy theories is harmful, but I don't think the proper way to go about addressing that is to lock it all down and to ban it. I like the steps that YouTube has taken where they might put a note under the video, or what Twitter, or the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, called X, is taking, where they have like the community note.
So he thinks Nazis should exist. He didn't say that. He said if like there were to like say stuff out loud publicly, it should be like just like fine.
I was thinking.
Which like it's just words, bro. To me, like it's just
Very
words,
same
bro.
thing
Like
as you.
who
Of course,
cares about these
there
fucking
are
people?
certain things that you cannot do, even with free speech being present. And I'm not sure how you define hate speech. So with some of the hate speech laws that are coming about, I think.
Like, bro, if I saw like these Nazis on like campus, I would just look at them and be like, wow, these guys are fucking retarded. I can't believe that, and then just go on with my day. No.
To be reevaluated and maybe rolled back, because even people who we disagree with or we don't like or we view as evil should still be able to espouse their beliefs.
Right. For example, right now, what's going on with students on campus, I don't agree that Congress and other individuals should limit what students are talking about on campus, what's going on in Gaza, what's going on in Israel, with the crackdown on JVP, the crackdown on Students for Justice for Palestine. The people who are in power should understand that students are the most, I would say, abrasive when it comes to speaking out against injustices.
I'm a free speech absolutist. I think that there should be repercussions to certain free speech, but it's a constitutional right, and yeah, that's where I stand with it. Yeah, I don't want any apps being banned. I don't want people being banned from certain apps, and I think there's an attack on our First Amendment right now. That's where I
A
stand
gay
with
black dude for Trump.
Yeah, I don't want any apps being
Respect.
banned. I don't want people being banned from certain apps, and I think there's an attack on
That is
our
respect
First
right there.
Amendment right now. Yeah.
So you think no one should be banned from platform?
Absolutely not.
So like someone calls me like the F slur, you like leave them?
Yeah.
What?
I get called that
Because
all the
that's their
time.
right to say that. Now,
Wait, like yeah, I agree. Like no one should call him that, but like, what are you gonna do if some like what? Should he go to fucking jail or something for the rest of your life? Or like what should that definitely should not be the thing that it should happen, right?
You know,
it's
you
just like
can't-
it's just a word. Go on with your day, bro. Like, wow, that guy's retarded. All right, move on.
and there should be measures taken to where, like I said, there are repercussions to certain speech. I don't think the platform should be able to remove them, but I think you should have the right to block them like we already can now,
Right.
because I've lost 3 Instagram profiles just for saying, oh, I don't think children should have sex changes under the age of 18. Account's gone. Like, I've lost thousands of followers and stuff for just saying things that I think are just common
I do have a
sense,
question for you, actually.
Yeah.
Because I can understand why, like, hearing a word like that is harmful and
Yeah,
it's
I
not something you
understand.
want to deal with on a daily basis.
100%.
Wouldn't you rather know who's homophobic, though? Wouldn't you rather know who's racist?
Yeah.
These platforms have the
Yeah,
right
maybe.
as private businesses to say what they want on those businesses. It's not cancel culture for them to take down slurs. And honestly, they're not that great at taking down slurs anyway. Because I get called a on a daily basis online just for being a Jewish
The
person.
unfortunate thing is this internet and social media has become the town square. And the town square, if you were to take a box and put it in the town square, there is no limit on what you can say. And who's to say the city's gonna come down and say, you use the word and we're gonna take your soapbox and you can't ever come back to my city? That's exactly what you're doing when you're saying the platform has every right to remove this language.
You have the option to go to another platform. There's plenty of
So we
conservative.
have an option to go to another city then.
There's plenty of conservative platforms
Now
that
you have no free speech.
you have free speech because you have so many options.
I think we have to be really careful when we talk about the concept of free speech. I like the concept of free speech, and I would defend that across multiple platforms, but that's fundamentally different than the First Amendment. The First Amendment has nothing to do with like the concept of free speech.
Right.
The First Amendment prohibits Congress or state or local governments from making laws specifically abridging your right to freedom of speech. Like hate speech laws don't exist in the United States because there's not hate speech. Hate can be an aggravator to an existing crime, but we don't outlaw certain types of speech. Twitter does not have a legal obligation. It's a violation of their First Amendment right to say they have to host whatever type of speech or tweet that somebody has on the platform.
And a hate crime and a hate incident are 2 different things
Two
too.
different
And I wanted to say, like, if somebody called you, the F word, and then they said they wanted to kill you, then that's a hate crime,
Bingo.
and that's not protected, right?
Correct.
But a hate incident, somebody could call you an F word and not say they want to kill you, and that's still protected.
Exactly. It can be an
under free
aggravating
speech.
circumstance to an existing crime, but you can call somebody whatever you want, and it's not, yeah.
I often criticize
Bet.
my own political party. 3, 2, 1.
I see that you're on the disagree side.
I am.
Like,
I'm sitting here
what
listening.
brought you there?
What brought me here is because I tend to be a more, I guess you could say, traditional conservative in that I don't like to speak ill of my own party. I just don't. For me to go out and air their dirty laundry out where everyone can see it is only going to put a blemish on them. And I always want to put my best foot forward, and I always want to put my party's best foot forward. But I will point out the instances where I disagree with them privately so that they can make the necessary changes.
I've got to ask, I'm so sorry, because you said you were a Trump supporter, right?
Yes.
This must be like the thing you hate the most about him, then, right? Because isn't Trump like the most
But
like
here-
anti-Republican attack?
But here's the thing, I come from a community where we found our power in local government. I've separated myself from this idea that I'm going to speak poorly about Trump because I want him to put his best foot forward.
I wish more liberals did that, to be honest. I think a lot of liberals, we tend to bash our party on the social media platforms, or when we protest a lot, right? But I think when it comes to going to these city council meetings, going to Congress, writing our elected officials, we tend to fall back on that, and we rely on social media, and we rely on demonstrations.
There is a lot of infighting on the right that I think makes us look very bad. One thing about liberals, you guys really do stick together, and you actually get work done, even when I don't agree with it. Whereas the right, with people like us, I feel like they see gay Republicans or conservatives as useful idiots, to be honest. That's why I kind of take issue with saying that I'm a gay conservative or gay Republican. They don't try to cast a wide net to bring new people over, whereas liberals do.
From my perspective as a liberal, I sometimes see y'all sticking really hard together. And y'all are like, no matter what, we're gonna vote red. Like, y'all seem very unified, even though you're talking about like public, like there's like internal discourse. But like, I feel like liberals feel like there's a lot of internal discourse amongst us. We're always yelling at each other.
Well, that's interesting because Democrats, they're winning a lot more elections right now. You know, and that's another critique I have of the Republican Party. You know, the midterm elections, they completely blew it. They put out a lot of bad
looks like the
candidates.
most average fucking
The left didn't do
conservative.
that. They put a lot.
Very fitting.
The right stays stuck
About to
on
get in his
certain things, like
fucking
abortion.
F-150
It's like,
after
we're
this and
they're
fucking shoot some
unbudging
deer,
with them.
bro.
It's like, all right, if we're pro-life, let's be pro-life in and outside the womb. You know, because they only focus on abortion. Well, what about war? Because now they want to send everybody over to Israel. So I'm like...
Violence should never be the answer to any issue.
Obviously.
3, 2,
There's like very rare instances, I think.
Hey there, it's Amala.
Hey, I'm Destiny.
Do you want to be in a Jubilee video?
If so, go to jubileemedia.com/casting or click the link below this video and you can apply.
Now let's get back to it.
I mean, violence, assuming we have a functioning democracy, I think violence is bad for two huge reasons. One is because we don't want to condition people to feel like violence is the answer to political disagreements. And then two,
there's
we want
rare
people to utilize-
occasions.
We want everybody to be able to utilize some form of protest against the government. And when we endorse violence, we're now saying it's okay for even people we disagree with to use violence. And that could be really scary for a lot of different reasons. But I would say in general, in 99%, where we're at today in the United States, we are not at the level of where violence is necessary to enact any kind of political change.
I wouldn't say that's entirely true. I mean, there's a certain level of violence happening to marginalized communities. That doesn't mean I necessarily agree with violence when it comes to the Palestinian rebellion that's been happening in Israel. I don't agree with Hamas killing people, that's terrorism, but at the same time, the violent uprisings that have happened, most of which have actually been peaceful, but still there is some sort of violence happening because they've been oppressed for so long. Like back in the Holocaust, people think that, oh, Jews went peacefully into the concentration camps. No, we were violent. We had uprisings, we fought back. At a certain point, there is violence in fighting back to oppression.
I agree because I don't strongly agree with it because I'm all about nonviolence in my life. What I practice, my spirituality, I'm all about nonviolence. But at the same time, as I organize and I'm on the ground and I'm at protests and I'm at demonstrations, by any means necessary means, right, quoting Malcolm X, that you have to have some form of disagreement with the state that's not listening to your needs as people, as free people. And sometimes that takes, rebellious actions like burning down banks or burning down institutions that are not listening to you. But as
violence
Black
should
people in
never
America,
be the answer
if we're
to any
only
issue.
demanding
I mean, the answer
justice,
definitely
we're
has to
not
just be
asking for
disagree.
revenge. We're just asking for equality. And sometimes
Because what if the issue is the United States government started trying to kill everybody in the United States, then we would actually, like, have to fight back. You know what I mean? So it's like there's infinite, like, situations that can happen.
Sure. Yeah. The reason I came over
Because
here,
this question is just so shit. Like, they make it like that. It's just shit.
Internationally, if a country is met with violence, there's really only one way to respond to that. I don't think Israel could go to Hamas and say, hey, guys, can you just not do that again? When Hamas is already saying that they plan more attacks that they had.
Like, what if Mexico invaded U.S.? We would have to just, like, fight back, no? Just start, like, killing everything?
So
it's just like, this question's just so shit.
With violence.
Sure, I think so there's a couple key things to keep in mind here. So one is, when we talk about like violence in response to political ideas, we have to be really careful that we don't redefine violence to mean literally anything that we don't like. Because I've noticed that like people are doing these things where like there is a white supremacist violence against black communities because of the way money is distributed with our taxes. And people take that very academic form of violence, which is, and it's okay I think to have this analysis, but they'll take that academic form of violence and they'll say, now we can kill police officers and burn down buildings, or now we can engage in arson or destroy neighborhoods.
My side is misrepresented by the media. 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
By the media.
she looked like she was thinking hard.
3, 2, 1.
Honestly, the media is controlled by the left. I really never see any positive light shine on conservatives nor the right in the media ever, unless it's right-leaning media.
And to your point, what I think is
okay, what? Okay, that's the point of news channels, bro. They're all biased. It's either left-leaning or right-leaning.
look at the conservatives who are here today. It's a pretty diverse bunch of people. And when I was on the left, my characterization of conservatives was like white, heterosexual, old man, and to having moved over that space and see, oh, there's way more people who just happen to have conservative beliefs, or maybe they don't agree with some of the woke stuff that's happening right now. I think we are often mischaracterized.
I do agree that right now, ironically, it seems like the left and the farther left have more kind of corporate media control in terms of how images are displayed. So you're going to feel like, if you're a conservative, that you're not accurately represented, and the left maybe gets some more fair representation. But on platforms where conservatives run things, holy Christ, are people on the left completely and totally misrepresented. Like, how many times have I heard these stupid quotes from the WEF where it's like, oh, you want us to rent everything and own nothing, and you want us to eat bugs, and you're on your 57th booster shot. Today, if anybody's ever listened to Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage, Billy Cunningham, like any of these people, these guys
what is this guy saying?
Giving fair, accurate representation of the left, their voices just tend to be more marginalized or smaller now in media because of how much corporate control kind of like bows to the woke agenda, I would say.
I'd like to push back on that just a little bit. I agree.
Bring Andrew Tate on, that'd be fucking legendary if Andrew Tate was on this exact one.
Maybe platforms like the Daily Wire.
That would just be hilarious, bro.
About the fact that they're conservative.
This would be the funniest video of all time.
Mainstream left news, they'll present their opinion as fact. But you know, like someone like Ben Shapiro, he'll tell everyone, you know, listen to my show, listen to Pod Save America, figure out what you think is right, and you could figure out the facts based on what we're both saying. You don't see that as much from the left.
I want to push back on that because Ben Shapiro has stated a lot of opinions as facts.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, sure.
I think that there are better examples to use within the Conservative Party that are more open about being opinionated, but Ben Shapiro is not.
Yeah, or Michael Knowles saying transgenderism should just be eradicated from society. It's like, so now
I don't know
y'all
about
really giving
that.
them a bullet to use against us.
It's the culture war bull. It's just like that's what I'm so sick of between both sides, because I do think that both sides are misrepresented within media.
They went way too hard.
Wait, does Tucker Carlson still have a Twitter?
Especially on this topic now, I think in
Like, he still posts on that shit and shit?
Every news station, besides most conservative news stations and podcasts, were posting black squares and saying that they were black people. But now, you know, what's going on with Israel and Hamas, you see some media companies taking the silent side or firing correspondents on CNN like Mark Lamont Hill, or firing other people on MSNBC if they have a neutral stance. So I agree with you. I think it's a cultural war on both ends, right? You have some liberal apparatuses who don't agree with some things that some liberals say.
Same with the right and how they did Tucker Carlson.
Both liberal and conservative media,
Damn.
even if they say they're blatantly stating facts, they're failing to contextualize those facts, because a story presented with blank facts looks very different when you actually hear like the build up and like really see what's going on underneath.
Mainstream media tends to misrepresent conservatives. We all can agree on that. But what they do very well is they misrepresent liberals in a positive light. We can all remember the news anchor going, "It's a mostly peaceful rally," and there's a building burning behind him. They've misrepresented the other side, saying, "Look, this side is all sunshine and rainbows, everything's fine, pay no attention to those people being hurt in the back." And instead of actually elevating people who were advocating for peace,
Guy
and saying,
said that
"Please don't
pink
destroy
hair
these
girl
buildings,"
can
they
get it.
focused on the
Legit shameless, bro.
the destruction and everything else, but not the actual destruction. So I
That is
see
shameless.
both sides being completely misrepresentative, but misrepresented in different ways. The right being ignored and cast out as crazy, and the left going, "We're the shiny example of tolerance. Look at us." When underneath the surface, we see the truth.
Damn.
The American dream is still alive. 3, 2,
They like
1.
this question a lot, huh? What? Shameless as fuck.
I feel like
That is legit
when
shameless.
upward class mobility is so hard as it is right now.
Wait, this is just
the
straight
American dream
shameless.
It's either dead or it's on life support, because it's just damn near impossible for people to climb out of poverty. Everyone thinks that they're going to be the next Jeff Bezos. You're closer to being on Skid Row than you're ever going to be to Jeff Bezos.
I think the
Not even like
dream has
American
become-
dream and like monetization, bro. Not even about money. Just American dream as in like living just free, doing what
Like, I
you
was
want.
thinking about-
Like look at like
about this,
you can't do like
just outside of politics, like you know how a lot of people have.
you can't do like that
nostalgia,
in
like
other
the past and
countries,
stuff.
in a
And then
lot
you
of
look
other
at
countries in
America,
life.
it's like
Like it's
we're not gonna
already
get back the
like
America
bro.
that we were post 9/11 when everybody was a little more unified.
Like
outside
that's
of
already
patriarchy
enough
and
of
everything.
American dream.
We're not going to
It's
get
just
the America
shameless.
where
It's so
all
sad.
races could get along without people saying, "Oh, you're culturally appropriating. You're microaggressions." You know, all that. You know, all that little stuff that keeps us divided. I don't think we'll get back to the America that we grew up in. I honestly don't. Like, I want to be optimistic, but it's hard.
I guess I just don't know that that's the necessary point of the American dream. I think it shifts and it changes and it takes on the context of the time that it's
American
in,
dream is not
where
just
we
about
had
just
that
getting
sort of
most money
old
as
school
possible.
Nuclear family, house with the white picket fence. That's changing with technology.
Like,
and
how is this
corporations.
pink hair person disagreeing? What? The American dream is still alive, and you disagree.
Dream has become the American memory.
Go do that in fucking
Just outside of politics, like,
Afghanistan and see
nostalgia
like what
for past
happens.
and
Like, what are you
stuff. And then
talking
you look at
about?
America, and it's like we're not gonna get
You're
back.
very
the America
lucky
that we
we're in America.
Post
Like,
9/11,
America
when
is
everybody
great,
was a
man.
little more unified outside of the Patriot Act and everything. We're not gonna get the America where all races could get along without people saying, "Oh, you're culturally appropriating. You're microaggressions." You know, all that. You know, all that little stuff that keeps us divided. I don't think we'll get back to the America that we grew up in. I honestly don't. Like, I want to be optimistic, but it's hard.
Oh, I see where this guy. I see what that guy's perspective. He's going for like the family value type American dream.
It's the
I
necessary
understand that.
point of the American dream. I think it shifts and it changes and it takes on the context of the time that it's in, where we had that sort of old school nuclear family, house with the white picket fence. That's changing with technology and corporations buying up properties and things like that. But I don't think the American dream is dead. I think it's taking on a new form.
Yeah.
I think still there
I agree
is
with that.
no better place to be, no better place for progress. And as you watch
I agree.
people in other countries, what are they influenced by? They're influenced by America. Where do they want to be? They want to be in America. So it speaks to me that the dream is very much still alive. Opportunity is very much still alive. It just looks
The
different.
dream or the idea?
The dream.
The dream. Yeah, I agree strongly with what you're saying here. You know, that dream of being able to buy a house, having the nuclear family, being happy, that's still my view of the American dream. It is harder to attain, that's for sure. It might be dead here in California.
It's not, I can assure you.
I want to believe that the American dream can be like real. The more I've experienced life, the more I feel it is a little more on the dead side. Like, it's like this idea that we're taught when we're growing up is that you work the hardest, you're gonna get the most, right? Like, but that's just not true. Like, and that's not the world we live in. And I know it's a little pessimistic. As I said, like, I want to be like the poverty cycle breaker in my family, but it's like, it feels next to impossible sometimes.
It may feel out of reach, but I started my adult life with $35 in my pocket, and I was a runaway because my parents locked me up. I saw them achieve the American dream of having a home and having beautiful children. I wanted that, and I worked hard.
Locked them
now
up.
in my work in real estate, I see people achieving the American dream all day long. Sometimes California is a little outside of our price range. We got to go to another state. But that potential, that idea that I am free to choose to get a home, choose to get land, choose to start a business, that is still here. And I wholeheartedly believe that the American dream still rests in our hands. We just have to be strong enough to take it.
I think for individuals who immigrate to America, the American dream may still be alive and embedded within their spirit. But I think for BIPOC folk that are within America, the American dream is sort of a memory, and it's becoming less vibrant due to the housing crisis, due to, like you said earlier, gentrification, due to the lack of education. When the American dream was first, promoted within the 1960s, Reagan, Nixon, they funneled so much money within the American economy for people to go to college and not worry about it, for people to afford a home and not worry about it, for people to get a car.
Yeah, this guy's stuck on the old American dream.
Job and support a family.
Thank you, but now since
Shut
there's
up.
so many instances of people on the top, making sure they hold that wealth, we see so many BIPOC folk in America suffering and not being able to get to that middle class, right? The American middle class is no longer here.
So you're speaking just from the BIPOC perspective, not American.
I'm speaking just from the BIPOC perspective.
Isn't like the American dream supposed to apply to everyone? And I think that's the issue. It's like, when I heard you, I'm like, I think that's amazing that like some people do have the access to move and stuff like that. But like, what do you say for those people at the bottom who are working so hard and they can't? Like, they just...
I feel like a lot of the views you have of the American dream get so politically tainted that one of the things that sucks is for the cool things that are happening in America, you can't even take credit for it anymore. I hate that I chose like the most politically divisive topics, but like, for instance, like I personally think the COVID vaccine, that was a huge success of United States innovation and capitalism. I think our guns are really cool. I think that's like super awesome. You can shoot awesome firearms in the United States. I'm a proud gun owner from Nebraska. It seems like for all the things that exist that are good, we can't take credit for them anymore because all of them become so heavily politically divided that we start to have this huge doomer outlook on everything.
I think it's really hard for some people to have that optimistic outlook when there is so much in the way. Like I, as a disabled person, we're still forgotten about with marriage equality. We're still forgotten about when it comes to health mandates. For a lot of people who live this every day, for us, the American dream is dead, and it's been dead for a while.
I just think like the fact that we're all here and like clothed and fed and have water and we're here discussing ideas and like how to make this country a better place, to me that completely signifies
That's basically what I'm saying.
Living it.
That's like...
She put it perfectly.
Said like a really...
How do these people not like understand what's going on?
Look how far we've come, but what if that's
It's
not
so
enough
like
for those people
just
right
like
now?
in a different
Like,
planet,
that sucks
I
for the
think.
people living right now,
Like especially
who
those two.
don't have what they need.
That's
so
the
like,
beauty of America. We are free to
Makes no
succeed
sense.
or we are free to fail. It's free to do whatever you want.
I'd rather be here. I'll just say that. I'd rather be in America.
Right.
Are we all gonna...
All right, I'm done. Wow. Wow.